Next on America's Day at the Races is a 6-year-old. Dr. Edgar made his stakes debut just 3 months ago, earning Grade 3 glory in the Appleton. Can he deal a winning hand in the poker? After back-to-back placings in Grade 1 company against the best turf stars around, Clyde's Image breakthrough with the first stakes win of his career. And after a surface switch to turf 5 starts back, breaking the rules has become a stakes winner and graded stakes place on the surface. They'll go head-to-head, that trio, coming up in our feature race this afternoon. Our show brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there watching. Hope you're enjoying it with Pops. If you didn't bring out to the racetrack, because most did out in the area, we have a great crowd on hand for this Father's Day Sunday. Good to be with you. Greg Wolf alongside. The only father on set here as well. 4-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling and Paul Dr. Edgar. Speed outside. Looks like he's going to be the one to catch in our feature race today.
Yeah, and he's a horse for course type of horse as well. 4 for 8 over it with 3 second-place finishes, and he's going to be the one to catch. Now, this is a way tougher field with some other horses in here, but he's got some grit too, Andy.
Oh, he's a terrific horse, and he is the controlling speed in this race. He's going to be very hard to beat. This is an extremely tough field. It's a very competitive field, and here he is gamely holding off Hawkish. And Hawkish had a perfect trip, and he was never getting by Dr. Edgar. Even his last race, 1.8 miles in the soft turf, a little far for him, he was never giving up. The winner just freaked. And Dr. Edgar, other than his sort of inexplicable race off the pace 3 back or 4 back, he hasn't run a bad race in a long, long time.
He will be tough to deny. Dylan Davis, yesterday we had him on our show after he won a race, called him a tough route sprinter, and that's what he is. He likes to go to the front and use that speed to his advantage. He'll be able to do just that in the poker. Will it be enough? We will find out. That will go as race 8 on the card on this Father's Day here at Belmont Park. He is 3-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, Therapist was a late scratch when we got to the racetrack, actually. So for a lot of you at home that were wondering what happened there, he was announced a late scratch about an hour ago.
Get signed up, get started. You can play along with all the races we bring you on the show. Get a $200 new member bonus. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage of that offer and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Our track conditions, they're brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. And we are fast and firm at Belmont Park. We also have Churchill Downs action coming up a little bit later on today. And we'll check in with Frank Lyons out there this afternoon. They are fast and off the turf. We're bringing the 6th through the 9th out in Louisville at Churchill. Races 4 through 9 here at Belmont Park. And let's set the stage for our first live action of the afternoon in race number 4. Kicks off the pick 6, New York bred maiden special weight, 1 turn mile and 6% for trainer Brad Cox. We'll have Javier Castellano aboard, making start number 3.
I'm surprised that he's a big favorite, and he really is favored over the other horse he ran against, number 5, 7 is Heaven. 6% did run well in that race, but he had a very good ground-saving trip. Now, he got left as well. He broke about 1.5 lengths slow, but I thought 7 is Heaven had a wider trip, and I preferred 7 is Heaven out of that race. I thought he was more likely to move forward as they stretch out to a mile today, Paul.
I'm actually with you. 7 is Heaven is my pick as well. And, you know, I get he has to steady a tiny bit here in the lane. He
could have won this race.
Yeah, he could have won the race. Yeah, I get it. But where 7 is Heaven is that they were just treading water. And I liked how he just kept grinding and grinding and grinding away. Now he gets a mile, and I think that's why I like him. I think he's going to love this distance, little stretch out.
Let's check in trackside now. Get more on this 4th race coming up with Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, it's almost a Belmont Day kind of crowd out here. We always get great crowds here at the track for Father's Day, and really good, exciting energy here as we'll check out some of the horses here for this race. Beginning on the outside with one of 2 Linda Rice trainees. That's number 6, Daddy Knows. He's one of 2 horses that we'll look at going turf to dirt here, and ran obviously his better race when it was a sloppy sealed racetrack in his debut. Now, he's a lot more fit than he was for that debut, and 2, he's a lot more awake. So I would foresee him not being up on the pace by any means, but obviously breaking better and just being a little bit more involved than that debut race. But I'm a little bit worried about the fact that it's a fast track, and he did that good running over a sloppy one, because he does have the appearance of kind of a wet track horse, very tall, leggy, kind of narrowly built. So I'm not sure about him, and I'm honestly not sold on Linda's other horse. I know you guys like him, and it was a good effort last time. Number 5-7 is Heaven. And while physically he does look like he should appreciate some extra ground, he's kind of bigger, rangier, he's gotten really wound up pre-race. Now he's actually chilled out a bit beneath Irad Ortiz since he's gotten a warm-up into him. And you see Irad having his feet out of the stirrups there to try to keep him calm. But he was expending a lot of energy in the paddock. I mean, Linda's assistant had to take him from the groom because he was so strong. So I just don't love to see that with horses trying that longer distance for the first time. Now, number 4, that is 6%. He is one I'd written in my notes that would benefit from more ground. He's just very long, very evenly built. He looks like a distance runner to me. And credit to Brad Cox's assistant up here, Dustin Dugas, who has his horse looking a lot stronger. He had a very weak top line when he showed up here from the fairgrounds in late May, and he's just doing better, I think, heading into this effort than he was last time. And then kind of getting ignored, a horse that I like, Quiet Out East for Christophe Clement. I know his one dirt race came on a sloppy sealed track. The good Harrow track wasn't good, but then we see the layoff with him. So this horse appears to be working very nicely over this main track here at Belmont. He looks fantastic as he's third off a layoff, extremely fit in here. I think at a decent price, Quiet Out East might be the value play, guys.
So the value play for Maggie, the 3 at 5-1 on the board. Fathers taking in the action with their families, enjoying this Sunday afternoon here as we get set for the start of the Pick 6. And nobody really mentioning a horse on the outside. Daddy Knows, the other Linda Rice runner.
Well, when Daddy Knows finished well, they both is running the dirt and the turf. It was a sloppy track in the debut. Finished well ahead of Quiet Out East. He actually badly eliminated Quiet Out East on the start, and I'm not sure he ran that much better than Quiet Out East, depending on how you look at it. I think it's a question of how you break their different trips down, because he did win by 4 lengths. So
yeah, in his last race, it says he was ranking. It was for a split second. It wasn't like he was ranked for a long time. So he's still a little bit chilly on the board, and wow. They're sending it in on the 4 at 6-5. I didn't think anybody would be 6-5 in here, to be honest.
It's interesting, 6% for Brad Cox. Brad Cox does so many things well. His numbers stretching horses out from sprints to routes like he's doing with 6% are not that strong, and they're not very good with maidens either. Now, it doesn't mean the horse can't win, but with Brad Cox, you see so many good statistics. I'm always surprised when I see a bad one.
2 sprints stretching out now. He has been a closing sprinter in his 2 starts so far. As we look at the 5, and this is the horse that Maggie talked about being a little unsettled, expending some energy. Irad had those feet out of the irons, as she mentioned, to try and settle the horse, and now he's back locked in, ready to go.
Well, the board's agreeing with Maggie, right? This horse keeps drifting up a half point every flash. I like this horse. I'm obviously not happy to hear what Maggie had to say about him, and I respect Maggie's opinion as much as anyone's, but I'm stuck with him. I like him, but I didn't like what Maggie had to say.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. We both have our mark there, and you could tell there's sweat coming down the backside of the leg too. He's getting a little nervous, it seems like he is, but
it's pretty
you never
warm
know.
out.
It is pretty warm, so it could be what he does, but it's not a great sign. I'm just hoping that he breaks a little bit better, he puts himself into the race, and he can just grind away.
I agree.
Yeah, that's not a great look right there.
Yeah,
so maybe
that kidney sweat is never a great sign, but we'll see.
4-1, definitely a little cold on the board. And wow, just a lot of money right now. Even money on the 4, 6%. This son of Central Banker getting hammered at the windows.
Really is. I understand that this colt's getting buried, and the reason why is because the horse did get left. But Andy's right. It wasn't completely left, like about a length and a half, but settled into a nice stride and got a decent pace to run into. So a lot of people may be looking at that line thinking, okay, it's going to transfer to a mile I don't know about that, especially even money.
I agree. Even money's just seems a bit low, and I think really anyone, you can make cases for all the 3, 4, 5, and 6, and hard to believe that anyone separates himself means he'll probably win by 5.
This one right here, even money on 6%. Brad Cox, Javier Castellano. It's the start of the Pick 6 here on Father's Day at Belmont Park. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
6% is in, 7 is Heaven comes forward, and that'll leave Daddy Knows to take up position in the outside stall. Daddy Knows goes in. They're all in line. Acting up there is 6%. They're off. 7 is Heaven stumbled a bit coming out of there, and Cool Boy goes out to the early lead. 7 is Heaven will settle into stride in second after that early bobble. Then Daddy Knows quiet out east on the inside, and the trailer is 6%. So up the backstretch they go, and it is Cool Boy in front. Long shot leading the way here, on the lead by 3 up the backstretch. And then it's 7 is Heaven in second. Quiet out east is third on the inside. Daddy Knows, and the trailer 6%. Is 6 lengths off of front-running Cool Boy, who completes a quarter in a snappy 22.73 seconds and heads for the far turn with a 4.5 length lead. And then it's 7 is Heaven running in second. Quiet out east and Daddy Knows heads apart. Third and fourth are 7 lengths off the lead with a half mile to go. And the trailer 6%, the half 45.36 seconds. Cool Boy taking them along here on the far turn, doing it quickly, leading it by 3.5. 7 is Heaven is second. Daddy Knows goes 3 wide. Quiet out east saves all the ground. 6% is last, but getting a hot pace in front of him. And now Javier Castellano's going to save all the ground here with 6%. Who's in gear at the top of the stretch. Cool Boy still on top. Quiet out east on the outside. Daddy Knows 6% coming between horses. Down to the final furlong. Quiet out east drifting out in front. 6% in Daddy Knows come through inside of Quiet Out East, who continues to drift but leads the way at the 16th pole. 6% is now rallied up the rail and right on by. 6% to win it over Quiet Out East. Daddy Knows, who steadied late, was third, and Cool Boy was fourth.
Quiet Out East at 9-2 with a win under Manny Franco, and 6% a little erratic in the stretch here.
Well, Quiet Out East did the sort of same thing last time. As soon as he hit the front, he wandered around a little bit, and he did the same thing today. He got such a good trip here with Manuel Franco. He hit the front because the one just hits a wall right here, and then Manny's just sitting, and the horse just starts to go and then starts to wander a little bit here, Andy.
You're correct. This is the second time in a row that Quiet Out East has cost himself a win because of his drifting. It happened on the turf last time, and now it happened on the dirt. And plus, for what it's worth, the rail is undefeated today. Horses on the inside have gone 3 for 3 on our card. We'll see if that's necessarily a big advantage, but the drifting on the 3 cost the race. Stumbo the start for 7 is Heaven. That wasn't the reason he lost. The board told you and Maggie told you why he wasn't going to run today.
Yeah,
excuse me, I think I said it backwards, by the way. That 7 is Heaven, by the way, went to his knees out of the gate. Completely compromised his trip.
He wasn't winning. He wasn't winning if they gave him a head start.
I'd like to see the end of this race again. I'm wondering if the 3 coming back in hinders the 6 at all late in this race, because right here we'll get a tight view if there's any of the 6 having to pull up a little bit. Maybe not. The 6 is a little ranked too, so yeah, unfortunate if we had the 3, but the favorites, well, at least the public was right.
Javier Castellano, Brad Cox, 6%, 2 sprints, stretching out, gets the win. We're going to take a break in the action. We will talk our feature race when we return. Belmont, he's had a lot of success in the poker over the years. We'll talk about it when we come back. Stay tuned.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here in Moffra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms. Trap Shot, a graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tappet. His 10 stakes horses last year included Grade 2 winner and track record setter Hot Shot Anna, plus graded stakes performers Untrapped and Beautiful Shot. At the sale, his 2-year-old sold up to $290,000. This year, he's added stakes winner 6-shooter to his list of recent winners. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and other networks across the country. Good to have you with us on this Father's Day. Our show brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Our Pick 6 underway at Belmont. We'll be back with the prices in a moment. Right now we're heading to Louisville. Going to check in at Churchill Downs as they get set for race 6. $30,000 maiden claiming sprint coming up at 7 furlongs. Let's send it out to Frank Lyons.
Thank you, Greg. Welcome to Churchill Downs. And we've got the late pick 5 coming up now. They're about to go to the post, so you got about a minute to get in on the pick 5. We've got a lot of scratches in the pick 5 because the races are off the grass. It's a fast main track, but races are off the turf. The last race is off the turf, and then in about 2 races off the turf as well. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And as far as this race is concerned, it's a wide open betting sequence between this race and the last race. The shortest price favourite on the morning line is 5-2, so that means get involved in the pick 5 because it's going to pay fortune today. In this race, I liked the 5, Brendan Walsh's filly. She looked like the horse to beat on form, but not on the racetrack. I don't like her the way she looks on the racetrack. I think I'm going to go for the 9. Quite a secret for Grant Foster. Had the lead last time out and just got a little tired first time out at a mile. She's back to 7 furlongs today, so at 8-1, I reckon that's the one to beat. Greg?
All right, Frank, thank you. Quite a secret. 6-1 on the board. And the other one he mentioned, Spackle. That's a favorite at 7-2. It's a great betting race.
I agree. I like the 7 Blunt Force a little bit. Thought this horse is interesting going turf to dirt, second off a layoff.
Yeah, lowest level that one's ever run at.
I like Frank's horse. The first time blinkers, that horse improved a lot, the 9.
It's the start of the late pick 5, as Frank mentioned. Again, races 8 and 10 off the turf. Let's go to Travis Stone with a call. Race 6 from Churchill Downs.
Anima, Live It Up, Nature's Bounty. They're in the gate. And the rough. Spackle mid-pack out well. Holly Molly Dolly is there. AP Princess racing through toward the rail. And Live It Up is in the mix too. So is Blunt Force. 6 of them across the track heading on to the main track. And it's Anima who comes away with the lead. Anima in front by just under a length. AP Princess in a bit tight, had to back off just a bit to settle down inside. Running in third is Holly Molly Dolly, moves up 1 spot. Live It Up in the clear, racing in 4th. Spackle is 5th. Blunt Force is 6th. Quite a Secret is 7th. Nature's Bounty is 8th. Sing Song Bird 9th. Tracy's Greeley 10th by 5. Woody's Reward is 2nd to last in the early stages, and Fire on High has been outsprinted so far. Anima whips around the far turn in front by 2.5 with 3 furlongs to go. The turn in front. AP Princess comes off the rail now with a bid from second in the run to the stretch. Top of the lane now. AP Princess has rallied to the front as Anima has given way. Tracy's Greeley made a big move on the far turn, is now second with 1 furlong to go. AP Princess clear by 4. Tracy's Greeley into second. Sing Song Bird into third. Down to the finish, AP Princess. Sharp today. Rambles home the 5-length winner. Tracy's Greeley held second, Sing Song Bird third, Blunt Force fourth.
Apologize for those problems there with our transmission. AP Princess John Court coming in from Oaklawn. Maiden breaking score for the daughter of Flatter.
She was the easiest kind of winner in this race and got a nice ride and a clean trip from John Court. I was laughing with Paul watching the trip that Gabriel Saez was giving Blunt Force looking between horses. If you needed, and I didn't, that horse for second, you're crying right now.
Yeah, the horse had so much trouble and so much run.
Wasn't winning, but it was going to be closer.
He was trying to steer in between traffic, and he was having a little bit of trouble. But
well, he lost his position the backstretch.
Yeah.
You know, when I think we lost the signal when that happened, though.
But Johnny Court gets a W, and so does Jink Fires gets his first W at the meet.
Back at Belmont, 6%. Javier Castellano, Brad Cox team up for the win on the son of Central Banker. Maiden breaking score after sprinting the first 2 tries, stretches out to a mile and gets that victory.
We've been seeing a lot of these Central Bankers, a lot of them on turf. So Brad has options now. This one out of a Soto mare, Snugs and Kisses, what a lot of fathers are getting today from their daughters. Javier Castellano aboard.
That's why it was even money.
Yeah, right?
That was one.
It's a Father's Day hunch.
Does a Central Banker win in every show?
They do, don't
Seems
they?
that way, right? Race 5, mile and 3/8. It's over the inner turf and allowance optional claiming field. Century. 5-1 morning line has opened up the 5-2 favorite for Shug McGahee.
Yeah, and it's an amazing board when you see 5-2, 2 7-2s, and 3 9-2s. It's a pretty unusual board. I'm looking upstairs. Looks like the favorite will be between the 4 and 8 by post time.
Yeah, the 2-horse Royal Albert Hall will be your longest shot. He's one.
You love that horse, Greg.
He's
Paul,
1 for
you
30.
love that horse.
He's 1 for 31 on turf.
We'll be back. We'll have a paddock report post-parade from the 5th at Belmont Park. I like that haircut. Wouldn't work on me, though. We're going to take a break. We'll be back on this Father's Day edition of America's Day at the Races. Stay tuned.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there. Diversify! That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
We're all here together having a time of our life. We'll be doing it again next year.
I'm here with my dad today. He comes here, hits half the races, and still ends up losing for the day.
We've been coming here for 7 years now. We don't miss a year. It's a great way for our family to be together. A lot of us, our fathers have passed, but we celebrate as fathers and remember them too, and we just come here and enjoy the day.
Placed my first bet, shouldn't tell anybody, when I was 12 years old. It's like a childhood memory. I have all of those superstitions with my father going to the track.
Well, it has become a great tradition out here at Belmont Park, a tremendous crowd on hand each and every year on Father's Day, and that is the case again this year as we have a tremendous card to treat this crowd to as we get set for the 5th race coming up that will kick off the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 mile and 3/8 marathon over the inner turf.
Good race, Andy. I mean, I get it. I'm not a Royal Albert Hall fan, but there's a lot of horses that can win this race. Argonne is in very good form. The 3 Botswana's in very good form. Century, who they're betting, ran a clunker last time, but can run a good one. But there is the horse to beat, Argonne.
Yeah, I guess he is. I mean, I agree. This is a really, really competitive race. It's a 6-horse field. They're betting it like they all can win. I didn't really agree with you on the number 2 horse, Royal Albert Hall, who never wins. And Botswana I didn't particularly like. I thought Argonne ran well in this race. I mean, he moved early, but I thought others had sort of trouble and stuff. But still, he's in great form. And the Bond Barn has good numbers off wins. He's one of the big players in a competitive race.
Back-to-back victories, mile and a 16th, that yielding turf course at a mile and a quarter, which we just showed you right there. And he is 7-2 right now for the James Bond Barn with Junior Alvarado.
We bring up turf condition. We talked about it a bit yesterday, Greg. While he ran that big race on a yielding course, he's run well in firm turf courses before. So I don't think feels like he can run anything.
Meanwhile, the 7-horse, Winter Union, he went against a real tough one in Zulu Alpha last start.
Yeah, I mean, he was in 2 sort of ridiculous spots in his last 2 races in Florida. He's getting back to reality. I picked him in here. This is his win, a narrow win back in October at Belmont at a mile and a quarter. Honestly, I picked him because I thought that anybody among the 4, 5, 7, or 8 could win this race, and I thought he'd be the biggest price.
Yeah, I don't think the 3 can win, really.
I thought he was a little on the slow side, Greg. I'm not saying he can't win. I thought he was a little slower than these. This is a tough field.
I like Winter Union. I'll tell you why I like Winter Union. You look at the firm races that this horse ran. This horse broke his maiden at Saratoga over a mile and a half over a firm turf course. The Delaware race was a good race. Then got yielding. And then the 2-mile race at Gulfstream Park, the horse got tangled up at the beginning, was 27 lengths behind in a 2-mile race. Made up a lot of ground for Gulfstream Park. I'm telling you right now, the 7 is live in here.
I just worry a little that the pace is going to be so moderate he could be
I don't think he's going to be that far back, though, Andy.
Well, they'll be going so slowly. I wouldn't be that far back.
He's 5-1 right now. For more, let's get a paddock report. Go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, he's one of 2 horses coming in off little layoffs. And while I like Argonne, who would probably be your post-time favorite, he looks fantastic here, and he's second off of a layoff and coming off the back of a win, too. We'll take a look at Century, who is taking all the early money as of now. And Century is a horse that kind of found his way back up the ladder, if you will, and got fairly good towards the latter half of last year for Shug McGahee. He comes back off of that layoff. He looks really well conditioned. I love the weight that he's carrying. His coat looks fantastic, just very rich and hydrated. He's a little bit more quiet than what I've seen in the past. Oh, there he goes. He's getting on his toes. I like when this horse shows the energy. I like that with him. He runs his better races when he gets a little bit fired up before his races. So it's a good sign if you see him not really washy, but a little hot under the collar. It's a good thing for him, at least from my past experiences with Century. Now moving on, although the one thing I will say, I don't love these marathon type distances for him. We'll see. He's run well before, though. Number 7 is Winter Union. He's one that definitely likes more ground, and he's come back in here, and he's fresh. And I thought it was interesting what Paul just said, that maybe he won't be too far out of it. Well, he's kind of giving me that impression here today, and that he's really on his toes. He came in here. He was the one kind of bucking and kicking as they came into the paddock for the first time. And physically, this horse always looks great for trainer Mike Matz, and today is like every other. As I know the horse that you guys don't like, number 2, Royal Albert Hall. And look, I don't like horses that are allergic to the winner's circle like he is, with 10 seconds and thirds each out of 42 starts, and only 3 wins. He looks a lot better, though. His coat looked really dull and drab in his last outing, and today he comes in, he's completely dappled. He looks way better, and he's returning to the turf where, I mean, the argument could be made that some of his better races have come on it. He's a long shot, don't get me wrong, but just a long shot that looks as though he's doing well, Greg.
Long shot.
Maggie, thank you. We'll have our post parade here coming up in a moment as you see prices from Churchill Downs, AP Princess. $8.40 for the win and a 28-1 shot. Tracy's Greeley completing the exacta.
Yeah, that's a nice exacta right there. 2-4 and AP's Princess. That's a nice price. 3-1.
Tracy's Greeley looks like an underlay at whatever price she was. She looked very tough in that field.
Yeah.
Our show every day brought to you in part by a champion sprinter, Runhappy, now standing at Claiborne Farm at a legendary stall number 1 for $25,000. Never lost in his career while sprinting, and did it all while racing medication-free. Post-parade coming up for this event here. We're going to see Royal Albert Hall to kick things off for Rob Atras, a 7-year-old who was just 1 for 31 lifetime on turf.
Yeah, and to me, he was a surprise winner last time for the first time ever on a dry dirt. Circled the field, but I'm not buying it today at 1, like you said, for 31, and just needs to be timed perfect. He's won a lot of money, but 42 starts, only 3 wins.
There he is. Son of royal applause for drawing away stable. And despite that turf record that's less than stellar, he is 5-1 on the board. Botswana was for a brief moment favored. He's now on the board at 4-1. Joel Rosario, Bentley Combs.
Certainly doesn't hurt to get Joel, and he is a horse that has improved while stretching out in distance, but he is facing a much tougher field than the ones he's been facing.
And one in his only try at this distance, that was last time out at Churchill. Argonne, James Bond, Junior Alvarado.
I think the one to beat, just because tactically and the distance-wise, this horse has got the best race at it.
Here's Century, Shug McGahee, son of Smart Strike.
You know, he had no chance that 1.5 mile race where he made that big middle move last time. He's a horse that was improving at the end of last year for Shug McGahee.
Winter Union, trained by Michael Matz, and Jose Ortiz will be aboard.
He was one, much like Century, was also improving the end of last year, and he, too, has been in 2 very tough spots down in Florida.
And I thought maybe if not for the question of distance, this was the horse to beat, but that's the big question mark with Lemonist.
Yeah, a lot of mile races, right? And now you got to go a mile and 3/8. But you're right, a horse is very, very consistent. A lot of second-place finishes, though.
Can't he try to control the race, too, on the front end?
He could.
You have to think it's the plan.
Yeah. He's favored 3-1 right now. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Pleased to be joined by Hall of Fame trainer Shug McGahee here in the paddock, sending out Century, and Shug taking a lot of early money on the board. He drops out of Graded Stakes Company. He also gets back on a firm course, and of course he's shown that he's like, how is he doing heading into this effort?
Well, he's doing good. You know, he was in Kentucky and really couldn't find a place to run him, so the book came out and this was here. So, you know, I think this is what he wants to do. He likes these big turns at Belmont, so we'll see.
And also sending out Breaking the Rules later in the poker. Now coming back to a mile, tough race last time, and he's also one that appreciates a little bit more of a firmer turf course.
Well, I think so. You know, they had a little rain over at Louisville kind of all week, and I don't think he liked the turf, and he was outside the whole way, and I think getting him back going a mile on a firm turf here at Belmont where he's run good, I think will help him.
Also have Johnny V aboard. That can't hurt, right?
Never hurts. Never hurts.
Well, Shug, best of luck with both your runners here.
All right, thank you, Maggie.
All right, Shug McGahee has 2 good shots coming up on our show, guys.
All right, Maggie, thank you. And there's Century, 7-2 for Shug, owned by Stuart Janney. Let's take a look at what Paul came up with here in this NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 pool at 42,865 and growing.
Well, listen, it was very tough to try to stay under a budget. So I had a single twice. So I think singled in the next race. So 4, 5, 7, 8. I'm going to single the 7. Team win for Pletcher. I think the cutback will help. In race number 7, Timber goes. I think big scratch in there with Expert being out of there. Then 1, 2, 4, 6 and 8 in that race. I think that race is a really tough race. Clyde's Image and Ticonderoga. I think the horse is to beat. And then 1, 3, 6 and 9 in the last. The 1 is very, very, the Confidant. That work is so slow, it's too slow to believe. And I think the 1 in the last might be very live.
All right, that one, New York bred maiden claiming event, 6.5 furlongs. Good luck in the NYRA Bets. Late Pick 5. 45,854 and growing. So down to 5-2 right now on Lemonist, who is favored on the board for Pletcher with Irad Ortiz Jr.
absolutely can win. And, you know, we'll see if he's favored or the 4 is favored by post time. It's hard to tell. I just wouldn't take him as the favorite. I can understand people liking him, and he should be the controlling speed in here. And the pedigree suggests he should be able to stretch out, but still, I'm not sure how good he is. I think he really has to improve stretching out to beat these horses, but maybe I'm wrong.
The thing is, what you have in here is you have the 7 who has 4 seconds. The 8 has a lot of seconds. The 2 has a lot of seconds. So who's the horse that has the winning punch? They look like the 4 and 5, and the 8's the one getting bet.
Well, I wonder if people really think it's just going to be an absolute crawl out there, much like we saw in that race here, I think on Friday when we went a distance race, and the C8 could be just loafing along in the lead, right? But isn't Argon going to be right close to him? He can't be that far behind him, right?
That's where we're going to find out about the 8. There's the 2 right there, and Old California horse, Royal Albert Hall, actually was in the Doug O'Neill barn when they brought him over, and he just kept running seconds and thirds, and you were wondering when was he going to break through, and it was just like never until he came here.
And, you know, he ran well for Rob Atras. You know, Rob obviously did a good job with him. Listen, to be fair, he has run turf races good enough to win, but like you, I'm just leery of horses that are 3 for 42 with 20 seconds and thirds.
And you don't think Botswana is going to be close here?
I don't think he'll be far out of it, but I mean, all things being equal, don't you think the 8's supposed to be in front in here? I mean, he is a horse that's got enough speed to be close in mile races. Now they're going 1 mile and 3/8. You think the 3's going to be in front early?
Well, we'll see.
Now, I think the 8's the fastest horse, but listen, around here, you don't know how they're going to ride him, you know? I mean, Joel Rosario, as we've talked about, on Botswana, he's been very aggressive at times in these 1 mile and 3/8 and tried to steal him, and maybe that's his idea. That's his best way of winning.
He's been pretty much the hottest rider around the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Including that victory and that flawless performance in the Belmont Stakes on Sir Winston.
When Joel is riding well, I don't think there's a better rider in the game. I'm not saying that there aren't other great riders around here, but I think, and you watch some of his money rides, big race rides, tremendous.
Maybe the strongest finishing rider in the game?
Yeah, I would think so.
Doesn't use the whip a lot, right? I mean, he rides him,
hand rides him. When Joel goes to the whip, you know you're in trouble a tiny bit, because usually he likes to ride him, and then they'll get rolling, especially from way out of it. We've seen a couple of his horses launch from way back this week.
Well, this one here trying to put together 3 consecutive victories. Mile and a 16th, mile and a quarter, now a mile and 3/8, trying this distance for the first time. And for a horse who was the morning line favorite, 7-2, a little chilly here.
Yeah, I would say a little chilly. I mean, I thought the 4 off that last race would be your favorite in here, and I'm surprised the 5 opened as the favorite, but the 8, you know,
I'm not going to be surprised if by post time the number 4 is favored here, Argon. He is favored severely in the pick 3. It's close. He's a slight favorite in the pick 4. I wonder if by post time, but usually the multi-race bets are a good indicator, but not always.
Back to Botswana. There's Rosario.
Greg, you like Botswana.
I loved him at a price. I thought he was 10-1 morning line. I thought at a number he was a horse you had to use in here.
No, I agree. I would have thought he'd be a bigger price in here. But clearly a lot of people see what you see. I just think this is a big test. I mean, he beat a $30,000 claimer last time out, but much like that horse on Friday that I didn't like and you liked, that horse had improved dramatically in these longer distance races, and sometimes they just keep improving.
Sometimes that could be a great equalizer.
True. Yeah,
at least we know that he likes the mile 3/8. At least he did against that field.
And he's supposed to be forwardly placed here. You know, unlike a horse like the one I like, the 7 horse in this race, Winter Union, who is going to be at the mercy of the pace a bit. Your horse is, the 3 horse Botswana, is supposed to at least be in position where he shouldn't be badly compromised by the pace.
And it's going to be, we say who's going to be in front in terms of pace. It's going to be a pretty slow pace here, right?
Isn't it always? I mean, in 6 furlongs, we don't have fast paces. 1 mile and 3/8. There's a sundial out there to time the pace for this race.
NYRA bets late pick 5 pool growing up to 61,700 plus with this great crowd. It's good to see that front side just packed right now. It's a great crowd on hand.
Father's Day, outside of Belmont Day, is our most popular day, and I'm so glad the weather's nice and we avoided the rain, because you hate to see so many families want to come out and get lousy weather.
Get signed up, play along, $200 new member bonus. Use that promo code LIVE at sign up to to take advantage of that offer, go to NYRABets.com or download the NYRA Bets app as they come onto the turf course here and get set to load up for the start of the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. And it is still Lemonious to the outside. Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz Jr., 2-1 favorite here. Can he get the mile in 3/8? Son of Lemon Drop Kid. Pedigree-wise, you would think he would be able to.
Okay, so I'm going to bet you that Lemonious in front. You think Botswana is going to be in front? Is that we have a gentleman's bet here on this? I'm not sure I'm right, by the way. Okay, Paul, you want to weigh in?
I'm staying out of this one.
Yeah, I think
too much money for you.
The gentleman's bets. Too rich for my blood.
I'll tell you what. I know I put my pick on the 4, but the 7 is a great price at 5 to 1. I mean, am I crazy?
That's why. I mean, that's why I picked him. I got one thing right. I managed to at least get the one of the horses I thought could win at the best price.
And it's two.
Now he's got to run well.
He's got 2 good races here too.
Greg, it's getting close. Here comes the 4, 5-2. That's our other horse race.
Trying to win 3 in a row again, Argonne. But this board so closely bunched. 2-1, 7-1 separates everybody. Good luck in the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. Let's send it upstairs. Larry Collmus with the call.
One left to load here. Here comes Lemonious up to the outside stall. Under Irad Ortiz Jr. seeking his 3rd win today. Goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. Good even beginning here. Botswana goes out to the early lead. Showing speed to his Argonne with Lemonious on the far outside. Now settling back to sit 3rd early on. After that, it's Royal Albert Hall, followed by Century and Winter Union, as Argonne will make the pace under Junior Alvarado. Loping along here on the lead on top, a length and a half. Botswana sits 2nd. Royal Albert Hall is 3rd. Lemonious is 4th. Century 5th on the inside, and taken to the back is late-running Winter Union. 24.49 was that opening quarter mile. So they move into the turn with Argonne leading the way, and Botswana a length and a half behind. 2nd on the outside, then Royal Albert Hall down toward the rail. And they're followed by Lemonious, whose race is about 3.5 lengths off the lead under Irad Ortiz, just clear of Century and Winter Union, and Jose Ortiz at the back of the pack. Some 8 lengths off the lead as they head on to the backstretch in 50.35 seconds. Argonne in front. On top, a length and a half. Joel Rosario keeping Botswana close up, running in 2nd on the outside. Royal Albert Hall is 3rd. Lemonious still unhurried 4th, halfway up the backstretch. Then Century and Winter Union. So they continue their journey up the backstretch here. It's been Argonne and it's been Botswana 2nd. 3/4 up in 1:15.92 seconds. Royal Albert Hall 3rd on the inside, just ahead of Lemonious and Winter Union, who's just 4 lengths behind now, and now the trailer is Century. Argonne into the turn, still no hurry up front here, and not much company for him. Argonne by a length. Botswana 2nd on the outside. Royal Albert Hall continues to save every inch of ground under John Velasquez down toward the rail. And then it's Lemonious, followed by Winter Union and Century. Argonne all the way so far, turning for home with a length and a half lead on Botswana. Lemonious swings up on the outside. Royal Albert Hall drives through down toward the rail. In behind them is Winter Union, who's weaving through traffic. And Century on the far outside. Argonne set down for another furlong. Lemonious, Botswana, Royal Albert Hall on the inside. Winter Union and Century. None of them will catch Argonne. Argonne is gone. Won it by 2.5 lengths over Lemonious. Then a photo between Century and Botswana.
Great tactics from Junior Alvarado. He got to the front early, and Argonne does not relent. Gate to wire for the win.
To be honest, if they had allowed you to make intra-race betting when this horse was already in the front in here, and the fastest horse, Lemonious, was somehow 4th early, you might have taken 4 to 5 on this horse. A great ride, as you said, Greg, by Junior Alvarado. Maybe the best horse, but with an advantage.
He did such a good job of, okay, nobody wants to go to the front end. And I looked at you guys, I'm like, how are they going to beat this horse coming out of a 1.25 mile race? But he got 24 to 50 to 115. So he kept slowing it down each quarter, Greg.
3 in a row for Argonne as he keeps going longer and longer and longer. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Last year, Seeking the Soul wasn't allowed to get into the Breeders' Cup Classic, went to the Dirt Mile instead. That will not be the case this year, not after the Stephen Foster. We'll be back.
Dedication, no problem. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms now ranks among the leading active sires by percentage of winners to starters. His top runners include multiple stakes victor Recruiting Ready, winner of the Grade 3 Gulfstream Park Sprint Stakes, graded stakes winner Rich Mommy, multiple stakes winner Taylor Spirit, plus these recent stakes winners. In the ring, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $275,000 this year. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
We have returned on America's Day at the Races. Quick look at the field here in the current odds for the 7th at Churchill Downs. Start of the late pick 4. 6 furlongs for non-winners of 2 lifetime. For more, let's go to Frank Lyons.
Thank you, Greg. Yes, here the 7th race is coming up. It's a 10-horse field, 14,000, 16,000 claiming non-winners of 2 lifetime, and a wide open race. I mean, non-winners of 2, they've all exposed themselves on several occasions, but if I had to land on one in this race, it would be the 2 British Humour, who's sitting on the board right now at 4-1. This horse is dropping in class, 2 starts back against 40 claimers, finished 3rd, beaten 6 lengths. That was at Keeneland, then at Churchill Downs last time out, going a mile, was 4th, beaten 6 lengths after showing a little bit of pace. Now it's back to 6 furlongs. So I'll put the 2 horse on top. Also the 10 horse, trained by Matt Shearer, is a very nice prospect in this race. Jimmy Joe is the 10. He was 4-1 in the morning line. He's currently at 5-2 favorite right now. Again, he was claimed by Matt Shearer 2 starts ago, claimed from Greg Foley. Ran him at a mile last time out. He showed pace, ended up backing up to be finishing 5th, beaten 8 lengths. That was against 30 claimers. And if there's a long shot that you want to hear about, I think the 4 horse or the 3 horse here, Bear Trap, is a very nice price here at 17-1. Could get a little piece of this. He ran behind Headland, who won early on the card, won by about I think 5 of his last 6 races. So the 3 Bear Trap got a chance, but I'll go 2, 10, and then the 8, Eddie Keneally's horse, coming first time in the barn of Eddie Keneally, was formerly trained by Tim Ritchie, was performing up at Laurel in Delaware, performing some sort of success, and this is only a 16 claimer, non-winners of 2, was 4-1 on the morning line, is currently at 5-1. So I go 2, 10, 8 with the 4, or the 3, sorry. Bear Trap is a long shot. And the 1, Cosmic Hallelujah. I think it's a sneaky long shot for a very, very good trainer. 8-1 the morning line now, 5-1. Norm McKnight, the trainer of that one. Greg?
Frank, thank you. Back here, I think we all sort of agree. We all like the 8 a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm in on the 8 in this race. Saw there. Eddie Keneally, I mean, great off the claim at Churchill, and he's not great over trainer switches overall, but he's 4 for 9 at Churchill with 8 hitting the board, and this one's a trainer change to him.
5-1 on the board on Salt Air, the 8 for Eddie Keneally. Let's send it out to Travis Stone. The call, race 7, Churchill.
They're in the gate, and they're off. Hooray for Harvey, racing for the lead. Home view is there on the outside. British Humor down inside, flashing speed 2. Jimmy Joe joins them on the far outside to make it 4 across the track down the backstretch run. British Humor down inside, grabs a narrow lead. Home view's right there. Hooray for Harvey, right in between those 3 across the track. Jimmy Joe backs off. Cosmic Hallelujah advances up inside from 4th. Jimmy Joe is running along in 5th. True to Dixie is in behind them, 6th by another 2. And then it's Rio Bueno on the move from 7th, just at a Bear Trap, who's 8th. Tis Pure back in 9th, and Salt there's at the back. So around the far turn, 3 of them across the track. Homeview on the far outside coming on with a 3-wide bid opening quarter, 21-3. Hooray for Harvey is still there. British Humor down inside. Jimmy Joe's getting into it. Rio Bueno swings to the far outside. They're off the turn. They're into the stretch. Hooray for Harvey. Tenuous lead. British Humor is battling on. Homeview 2. Jimmy Joe down the center of the track is coming on. Rio Bueno's got a shot as well. There's 1 furlong to go. Jimmy Joe on the outside puts a nose in front. Homeview battles on. These two head and head, 100 yards left. Rio Bueno 3rd. Down to the finish. Jimmy Joe and Homeview. Here's the wire photo. Maybe Homeview got the bob. Jimmy Joe right there too. Hooray for Harvey and Rio Bueno.
Looked like Homeview. I'm not sure that Jimmy Joe ever got a nose in front.
No, I don't think he ever did. The son of it, Awesome Patriot with Adam Beschizza was really game here on the inside. And your favorite, the 10, Jimmy Joe at 2-1, and Flo the jockey, looks like he's by him, but I don't think he ever does.
No, he doesn't get to him. Now
they float all the way to the rail,
It
too.
does seem like the 9 came over a bit, but then the 10's sort of forcing him in. Probably nothing. Actually, the 10's probably kind of pushing.
Yeah.
Seems like he's forcing the 9 inside in, if anything. But
I think I made the 9 more game.
Yeah, Homeview or the 10 less game.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, we will wait to make that official. Did look like, though, it was Homeview with the win, but photo out there at Churchill. Of course, they had a big night last night under the lights. Stephen Foster, along with all those other tremendous stakes races, which we're going to recap here on the show. But what a moment for Dallas Stewart, Charles Fipke, and Seeking the Soul, who wanted to get into the Classic last year, was not able to with that 14-horse field, was 17th on that preference list, ran huge.
And not only did he run huge, I don't think you could get a better ride than
No,
John
no,
Velasquez
you're right.
gave him.
You're right. You're 100% right, Andy, because I'll tell you what, Quip gave him all he could handle. I couldn't believe it. When I watched this race, I was like, he's going to go right by him, and it took a while to get by him, and Seeking the Soul sat such a good trip, and Johnny V just gave this horse such a great ride. It was a shame that Quip lost the race. He ran his
but John
eyeballs out.
Velasquez not only, he got great position with a horse that can be a bit of a lagger early.
So Seeking the Soul, they know it's on to the Classic. We'll see where he winds up next, keeping options open, East Coast and West Coast. Let's go to Maggie with John Velasquez.
Well, first of all, Johnny, happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
Coming in off the back of a nice win last night in the Stephen Foster board, Seeking the Soul. You rode him last time in the Ali Sheba. What did you, and you've ridden him before, what did you kind of gather and learn from him? Because last night you kept him closer to the pace than usual.
Well, you know, I figured that it was going to be a little more pace in the race, so I make sure I give him a good warm-up, and I wanted to be a little bit closer than normally. He's too far back. The pace was a little slower than I anticipated, so I was closer. Although I got to the first 10, and so I got him back a little bit where I thought he was comfortable enough and not too close. And by the backstretch, I was like, man, they're not going, so I better let him get close and creep up to them to the half-mile pole, and got it to a really good position in the half-mile pole. And from then on, I mean, I was just going to wait until the quarter pole, pull him to the clear, and he ran really well. I mean, he responded right away. So great feeling when you put a horse where you think he's comfortable, and then we ask him and they respond right away. It's a great feeling.
Johnny, he's danced every dance. He's been all around, I mean, including to Dubai and whatnot. Now, Dallas had mentioned something about going to Del Mar. Did he say anything to you about that?
Yeah, we talked about it after the race, and I think better off. I mean, he runs average in Saratoga. I guess he doesn't run his best races, so trying to go somewhere else, and then hopefully he likes it over there. I mean, the way he's been doing right now, I think he had at the right place where he's the best right now. I mean, from Dubai, he was his energy level wasn't there. Obviously, from that race that he ran in Kentucky to last night, he took him back to his high energy level, so it looks good.
Now, we won't be seeing you for most of the week next week as you're heading over to England for Royal Ascot. Now, you're going to be there from Tuesday to Friday now. I know Wesley keeps you guessing, but is there a horse that you're excited to get on?
You know, I don't even know. I know one of the horses that I wanted really easy, and I forgot her name, and Keeneland, so she's exciting, so looking forward to ride her. If I'm able to ride, I don't know where Wesley's going to go. So anyway, let's see. We're going to figure it out here tomorrow and to see if I'm going to stay there or not to ride the horse. So hopefully we work it out, yeah.
Johnny, you're not the only one that Wesley keeps guessing. So best of luck, but congratulations for last night.
Thank you very much.
Seeking the Soul, beat by City of Light, Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and in the Pegasus. Is this his year?
Mile and a quarter, I'll believe it when I see it. But he's a pretty good horse, so I won't be surprised when he runs well. I'm thinking Maven is the name of the horse for Wesley Ward that Johnny couldn't remember.
I think so, yeah.
Horse that was entered and scratched in our Astoria and won big figure win.
Seeking the Soul runs big, and that was a victory that was so popular with these connections. Charles Tipke actually owns the mama and the papa of Seeking the Soul. Perfect Soul, and Seeking the Title. It meant a lot to him, and now they are going, winning you're in to the Breeders' Cup Classic. We're going to take a break in the action. By the way, back at Churchill Downs, it was the 9 Home View, getting by Jimmy Joe for that victory. Prices when we come back.
What could be better than standing 1 Triple Crown winner? Standing 2.
Here comes American Pharaoh. Justified, turning for home in front. And American Pharaoh has Justified. He's unstoppable. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharaoh, Justified, has won the Triple Crown.
Coolmore, America, home of Triple Crown champions.
It's America's original sport. And no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle. The best races, horses, and destination venues. Cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Helmsman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy flag. Plus Preakness Stakes winner War of Will. And these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This is America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Glad to have you with us on Fox Sports 2, and welcome to those just joining us on MSG Plus here on Father's Day each and every year. Tremendous crowd for this Father's Day Sunday, and that is the case again this year. Greg Wolf alongside 4-time Major League All-Star and proud Papa Paul LoDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Our feature race today, we have a very good one in the Grade 3 Poker. It goes as race 8 mile on the turf. Clyde's Image as a 5-year-old, his last couple of starts, 2 Grade 1s, and he has more than held his own in those races.
No, he's been terrific in his last 2 starts, and he seems like a horse that just gets better and better with every start. You're talking about a horse that was 3rd behind Bricks and Mortar last time, and we saw the 5th place finisher in that race come back and win the stake last night at Churchill, Paul.
And this is the Makers 46 mile where he was 2nd to Delta Prince at a huge price. And you talk about Kerban, who was 3rd in that spot. Kerban was 2nd right behind Bricks and Mortar when they ran again the next time. So he's held good company, he really has. But he's been 46-1 and 27-1 in those 2 starts. They're probably going to get around 5-2 today. And this is a tough group. Dr. Egger on the outside will be the horse to catch.
That's who they all got to run down from that outside slot with Dylan Davis aboard. But Clyde's Image has proven, certainly over those last couple of starts, he is a force to be reckoned with. We'll see if he can break through, get his first stakes victory this afternoon for trainer Thomas Bush. Up next, we have the start of the late pick 4 here at Belmont. It's a mile and a 16th on the turf, $40,000 maiden claiming event. Team win Todd Pletcher. Ripoli's stable, Irad Ortiz Jr. Team up with the current favorite. Let's send it downstairs right now for a paddock report. Go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg, I certainly don't have any complaints about the current favorite in here, but actually going to begin with a long shot, and that's on the rail with the first-time starter, City Fun. Now, it's never a good sign when you pay $275,000 for a yearling and they show up for the first time running for $40. She does have a very cumulative work tab, so obviously fitness is not a question for me, and she's a fairly big, strong-looking filly, very quiet, so she's not giving me any indication that she'll have any early sort of pace, but it's a fairly decent pedigree as well, being by Temple City. That's a good turf influence out of Summer of Fun, who is a very good turf horse, finishing third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies for the same connections that are right outside to her in George Weaver and Bonaventure Stables, and they'll be sending out a drop down in here in number 2, Clatta's Run. I don't mind this filly at all. I mean, the two horses kind of that beat her, and Valiance returned with a win, they were up towards the front end, and she was kind of just chugging along, a little bit green, and wondering if she can get a little bit more involved early on this time around. She's a big, good-looking filly. I like what I'm seeing from her. I wouldn't be surprised if she can step up her game as well with getting that drop in class. Now, number 8 is Weekend Madness. She looks a bit slower on paper, to say the least. But again, another horse that's coming out of a race where it was dominated by horses up on the front end. And to my eye, she was the only one really making up any kind of ground. Coming in here, she's extremely well conditioned for Christophe Clement, who's given her a little bit of a break since mid-April. And again, she looks great. And she's one that kind of puffed up too when she got the tackle and those blinkers on. She's very kind of quiet and dull acting. And now she's nicely on the bit, chewing it and just indicating she's ready. She's got her game face on. As we'll take a look at one as well coming in from out of town. And number 11, Art Thief, 1 of 2 for John Stevens in here. She's another one that gets a bit of a drop in class. She kind of got shuffled back in the mid part of that race, which I think cost her down there at Monmouth. She does have the outside post here today, but certainly no complaints with this filly. She comes in here really, really fit. She's been very classy acting here in the paddock as she ships in for this effort. So an interesting field going postward here, Greg, for the 6th.
And a look right there at Christophe Clement talking strategy with Manny Franco, who will ride for him. Weekend Madness, the 8-horse. Coming up, 8-1 on the board. We'll be back. We'll have the post parade from the start of the late pick 4 when we come back.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. On the track, Orb continues to add winners. And in the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $250,000 in 2019. Classic winner, classic pedigree, Orb, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, Greg Wolf, Paul LoDuca, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale with you. We're at both Churchill Downs and here at Belmont Park on Father's Day Sunday. And our post parade coming up for race 6 that kicks off the pick 4. This is first-time starter City Fun by a dam who was actually third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf back in 2012.
She ran for trainer George Weaver, and she was a nice turf horse, actually. Won $300,000 in the turf. This is the first foal. Don't love that this one, though, was running for a tag first time.
Here's the 3, Blue Jean Kitten, Kendrick Carmouche aboard for Danny Gargan.
This is a very bad favorite at 5-2. It's a default favorite on a horse that's had many chances against much weaker.
Daughter a Street Boss here at 15-1. General June for Patrick Kelly taking over.
Going to be in her 4th different barn, but she's run well in her last 3 or 4 starts. Got 3/3.
John Stevens, one of 2 he has in the race. 16-1 on Seeking Revenge.
Appears to be the weaker of the 2.
5-2 on Team Win. Todd Pletcher, Rapoli Stable.
I believe this is the horse to beat, and a horse that didn't really run that badly, probably going too far last time out, drops.
Back to the 2 we saw go by. Clauda's Run, George Weaver dropping out of a maiden special.
Split a 12-horse field in that race, and this filly by declaration of war could improve here.
Weekend Madness, the 8 went by. Clement, Manny Franco, who we saw before we went to break, and here's Business Beauty, Joel Rosario.
Yeah, this has got to be a pick 6, pick 5, pick 4, pick 3 blow up. This horse wins.
And here's the other John Stevens runner, daughter of Regal Ransom, drops in for a tag, career start number 3.
I'm a fan of this horse. Trainer's very good making the move from maiden special to maiden claimer, and this horse will really appreciate a rider switch to Jose Ortiz.
Those 2 maiden specials, they came at Monmouth, and now the drop down here are coming to Belmont. We're going to head out to Churchill Downs. We're approaching the 12-minute mark to post. Race number 8. Let's go back to Frank Lyons.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah, mile and an 8 race here at Churchill. We got a lot of scratches because it's off the grass on the main track. And basically, very few of these horses have any experience on the main track. But the horse that is kind of bred, he's raced 4 times on the grass, is the 7. He's the favorite, so I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. But he does look the best. He's by Icebox out of a Grand Slam mare, owned and bred by Al Horton. He's had 4 starts, 2 seconds, and then last time out a win, then a 5th before that. But it was all on the grass. So you're going back to the main track now, but he's by Icebox, the Florida Derby winner. That was Nick Zito's horse. And this horse looks like, he's working well on the main track, and Eddie Keneally sees enough to leave him in this race. So I think that he's going to take all the beating. Then the 1 horse is one last strike. Interesting thing about this horse is that he won last time out, and he was claimed from Mike Maker by Randy Morse, but then he was gelded. Very rarely you see a horse gelded off of a win. And so I'm going to go with a 7-1, or maybe the 10 horse for 3rd. But guys, this is a very confusing race, but I do like the way the 7 horse looks on the track.
Frank, thank you. He'll be getting on the on the dirt for the main time. For the first time, that race off the turf, as mentioned, races 8 and 10 switch to the main track as we get back here to Belmont. And 5-2 favoritism remains with the 7 here. Team Win for Todd Pletcher.
I'm using the 2, 7, 11 to start out the late pick 4. I'm betting the 11 Art Thief to win, and I'm going to box him in the exactas. I do agree that Team Win may be the one to beat. I think Art Thief is going to really appreciate coming here to 1 turn where his closing style is more suited. And I think his rider has not done a good job of getting him in good position in his races, and he's really been running at the late stages. I think it's an interesting horse coming in for a sharp trainer.
The one thing is, who goes to the front end in this group? Is it the 3 Blue Jean Kitten? Is that why she's getting bet? Maybe that is
She may be the speed, and she's had experience. I think people see her races, and they see she's running 2nd. But Kickin' Kimberly, who beat her last time, she's just not that good, and I think she's meeting. There's just too many interesting new faces, whether it's the 2 dropping down, even the 1st or the 1 you guys mentioned, the 7 Team Win dropping, Art Thief. To me, this is even the 8 horse Weekend Madness Maggie was talking about. There's just a lot going on in this race. I don't want a horse like Blue Jean Kitten, who's had her chances against softer fields.
2, dropping for George Weaver, certainly a major player, having gone against Straight Maiden Company at Gulfstream in the debut, now dropping in for 40 maiden claiming.
I'm using that horse, but here's a stat for George Weaver I think is a fabulous trainer. Going from maiden special weight to maiden claimer on the turf in their 2nd starts, over the last 5 years, he's 0 for 16. And that's a stat, as we know, is a very good stat for most trainers, but obviously George does not have great numbers for that move.
It was a productive race as well. The top 2 finishes in that race, they both came back to win.
Very good field. No, I agree. I agree. I like a lot about the horse, and I'm using it, but that stat just really caught my eye, but I'm using that horse too.
There is Art Thief 2 starts against straight maidens in Monmouth. Now drops in for a claiming tag. Let's go to Larry Collmus for the call.
Ready for the start. They're off. And City Fun was slow to get going. A good beginning for Team Win. Blue Jean Kitten on the inside, and farther out comes Business Beauty. It's these three who go out to the early lead together, 2.5 lengths ahead of General June, who came out running in 4th on the outside of Claudia's Run. And then back to Art Thief, racing outside of Weekend Madness. At the back of the field are City Fun and Seeking Revenge as they head up the backstretch through the first quarter in 23.64 seconds. And it is Business Beauty taking charge here and opening up a 3-length lead up the backstretch. Blue Jean Kitten is second, Team Win is third, 5.5 lengths from the front. And then it's General June on the outside, followed by Claudia's Run. Weekend Madness has 8 lengths to make up at this stage and is cleared 3 lengths from Art Thief up the backstretch. Seeking Revenge and City Fun at the back are 12 lengths behind through a 48 flat half mile. Business Beauty, and now getting closer is Blue Jean Kitten, cutting the gap to a length as they make their way around the far turn. 3 lengths back to Team Win. General June 4th on the outside. Break of another 2 to Weekend Madness. Claudia's Run saving ground on the turn, 5.5 lengths off the lead. And then we come back to Seeking Revenge. Art Thief on the inside. And taking a wide run is first-time starter City Fun, who's starting to pick off horses one by one as they come to the top of the stretch. City Fun is rolling. They're into the stretch. It is Business Beauty. City Fun on the far outside continues to put in a bid. Blue Jean Kitten's in between horses. Team Win is there. And then comes General June, and they're coming down to the last 16th. And Team Win has taken the lead. Claudia's Run closing late on the inside. Team Win from Claudia's Run under the wire. And then came Business Beauty and Art Thief.
Team Win goes off as the favorite, 5-2. Todd Pletcher, Rapoli Stable, Irad Ortiz Jr. team up.
Paul and I were watching the race, and we're both going, Irad, when are you going to ride this horse? Well, he rode him, and he won.
Yeah, he did. Well, how about the move to 1? Got left the first time started. They made this giant move on the outside. Meanwhile, Irad just looking for a little bit of room. And as soon as he got into the 7, he took off, or she took off, excuse me.
Dylan Davis, a nice ride in the number 2, Claudia's Run. He continues to ride well. I just did everything he could. He saved ground. He was able to split horses and just came up second best. But I think this was one where Irad was probably a little too overconfident, but he still won.
Yeah,
Is that
did
fair?
your 11 get up for 3rd?
No, I think 4th.
Ooh.
Did he get 3rd?
Almost. I was almost 2-7-11.
3 today for Irad Ortiz Jr. His Team Win. Career start number 5, daughter of Malibu Moon, breaks through in the drop down in class.
Gonna take a look at the break. Yeah, you can see with the 11 was trying to follow the 2. The 11 had a lot of run here too, and just missed 3rd. And I thought it was a heady ride too by Jose Ortiz, trying to follow some of the runners that were moving. The other ones were just moving a tiny bit faster. We'll get back to the break.
The 7 had more speed, and so the 7 was able to get a little more forward position.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the beginning here and take a look at what happened.
Take a look at the 1. How far did she
I mean,
break?
not that bad. She breaks about a length slow, right? But she's just a little sluggish after the break, right? You know,
Yeah,
I mean, actually,
not
she
bad.
didn't, I mean, she ran fine. I mean, obviously, there was a huge long shot in front, which kind of collapsed the race.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about during the race with City Fun, and I can't disagree. I mean, we're not breeding experts, but with this horse's pedigree, $40,000 is a broodmare. I wonder if somebody claimed the 1 City Fun thinking she might be worth more than that as a broodmare.
Yeah.
Well, this is a little bizarre. This is her first full, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you upset you didn't claim her, Greg? You got
I
like 40 in your.
Not
some
in
of
the
that,
game
some of that
just yet.
Shannonewski money.
I'll get there one day.
The 11 was claimed. Not for broodmare value.
That's
Linda Rice claimed that one probably.
That's Art Thief, who is dropping in, coming from Monmouth.
Just missed. How about the 9, Business Beauty, hanging in for 3rd?
Yeah.
Joel making the most of that mount.
Yeah, and Joel, by the way, got put on a horse in the last race. A big long shot that he's ridden before, so he's riding some long shots, and he's riding so good right now. Leave Joel Rosario off your tickets at your own peril right now. He's on the 9 in the last, Wisecrack. 15-1 morning line.
7-2-9, who was 31-1, and 11. That 9 is a huge price. Complete your trifecta as we look back at Churchill now. Again, off the turf here. And as a result of that, quite a few scratches. It is Kid Lemuel. I hope I'm saying that right. That's the son of Icebox, Eddie Keneally, getting on dirt for the first time. Favorite as we look at one last strike at 6-1.
This one is only run on the turf. It's a new gelding, but it's really probably a turf pedigree, not my kind.
8-1 on Elgar, Belmont.
Elgar for Florent Giroux and Belmont, like you were talking about. Winner in the debut over synthetic, and now going to try to win off a freshening.
Patrick Byrne trains the 6. Take Charge Dioro.
Take Charge Dioro for Calvin Burrell, horse that will come from way, way out of it. You haven't seen Patrick Byrne in a while. He's only had 12 horses start this year.
Corey Lannery on Kid Lemuel, the favorite.
This is the kind you're supposed to bet against at 6-5. Has never run in the dirt. Why would you take a short price at a surface you're not aware? You don't know.
True Loyalty, trained by James DeVito. Tyler Bays.
Yeah, this one for Jimmy DeVito. This one was trying turf. That's not Jimmy's game. This horse is maybe a better dirt horse.
First on dirt for Broth as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. It's a Giopani, though. He does have a good dirt runner in Defong.
Yeah.
And 10-1, just like Richie, John Court for Sal Guerrero.
Yeah, this horse was 30-1 in the morning line, but benefits the most because only had 4 turf starts that weren't that good.
I think we should bet the 10 True Loyalty, Paul.
That horse got a big shot.
Right? Let's fool around in here. Box the 10, throw the 12 in. What else do we want to do? Well, I don't know why they scratched the 8. The 8 is the best dirt race of anybody in here. Right? Face of Victory?
Yeah, an old California horse.
What do you think of scratching that horse? How about throw this? Nah, 6 a little slow. I'm just doing some seat of the pants handicap and looking a little bit. 10-12.
All right, we're getting close. We're 2 minutes to post. Let's check in again with Frank Lyons.
Hi, Greg. So, meant to say to you that the 11 horse in here, who I think Andy mentioned that he likes, this Broth, finished second last time out to a horse called Coolin' Rock. Coolin' Rock was third in the McDermott down at Gulfstream. That's a grade 2. So that's a pretty good, performance. But then next time out, Coolin' Rock actually ran for 25 and ran well down the field. So it's kind of, it's a good thing that he ran second to Coolin' Rock last time out. Third horse was Botswana, who ran at Belmont a while ago. And I know, Greg, you'll be able to inform me more on how he did. But that's maybe, he didn't look good on the racetrack, though. I'll tell you, he was all washed out. And just thinking about what's coming up. So I didn't really like him on the racetrack, but on form, he does have good form. But I'm still sticking with the favorite, the 7, who's been bet down to 3-2 now for Eddie Keneally. First time on the dirt, son of Icebox, should handle the dirt, looks very well on the racetrack. So that's where I'm going to go, Greg.
All right, Frank, so thank you. Sticking with the favorite there at 3-2. And, yeah, common running lines of a horse that we just saw run here. That was a mile 3/8 on turf, and obviously now main track here. But Elgar ran against Botswana back on April the 25th at Keeneland. You look at the dirt form, though, too, back. That's a very distant third on a race taken off the turf. Sloppy track, though, that day, the only time he was on a dirt track.
Yeah, I guess that horse is in pot, but that race looked all. I mean, I don't know. The horse that I had mentioned, I was interested in was the 10, not the 11, True Loyalty. But there isn't a lot of dirt for him, to be honest, in this race. I'm going to make a tiny exacta box 10-12. That's my play, Paul.
Yeah, I like the 10 too. I do.
Yeah.
Jimmy DeVito, I get it. He can train a turf horse, but he's just a better dirt trainer. Tyler Bays, I think will fit this horse okay. This is a tough race, to be honest with you. One last strike to 1. New gelded after a win. Could improve even more. And it's 2 for 2 over the Churchill Downs turf, not the dirt, though.
Yeah, he, too, trying dirt for the very first time. He's getting played here 5-1. This is a puzzler with the surface switch, no doubt. But public solidly behind the 7 here. They have been pretty much throughout.
I mean, isn't there a very reasonable chance that horse can't run in the dirt at all?
I would think
I'm not saying he's not going to win.
Shouldn't be 8-5.
No, listen, it's a very tricky race. I get it. There we go. Wow, they got a ticket up there. $2 box. You can't bet $1.
Andy firing away.
You want to split it, Greg?
I'm going to pass.
Well, you money that $10 to Jonathan. Until you pay Jonathan $10 the shoes, I'm not making any bets with you.
I don't want to get too big in the hole here. Travis Stone with the call. 8th from Churchill. Mile and an 1/8 now move to the main track.
They're in the gate. And they're off. And just like Richie, quickly out of the starting gate, racing to the top spot and grabbed it rather easily. Very awkward in behind is True Loyalty. Hard to control in the early stages. Wrangled back to be 5th early on. Kid Lemuel comes on to be 2nd. Broth on the outside is away 3rd. One Last Strike is 4th. True Loyalty very restive in the early stages. Ryder trying to settle him down and still very keen to go on from there. Settle just a bit now as they make their way around the clubhouse turn. Then it's Take Charge Doro. And at the back is Elgar. 6 or 7 lengths off. Pace making just like Richie, who heads for the backstretch run. In front by half a length. Kid Lemuel with only mild pressure on the outside in 2nd. Now that one comes on to take over the lead. So it is Kid Lemuel in front for the backstretch, just like Richie. Right back at it at the inside. They share it through an opening quarter in 25 and 1/5 seconds. There's 5 furlongs to go. Broth is perched to their outside, running along in 3rd. One Last Strike is bottled up in behind while 4th. Take Charge Doro's racing in 5th. True Loyalty still keen to go on, 6th and down inside. Elgar's at the back, but moving up, well within striking range of the field. Hits the far turn run. Kid Lemuel goes head-to-head with just like Richie. Broth is honing in. Here comes Broth now, 3 wide and looking for the lead with 3 furlongs to go, and Broth takes over. So now it's Broth in front. Kid Lemuel has to fight back into 2nd. One Last Strike rolls up into 3rd on the outside. Just like Richie gives way down toward the rail. Take Charge Doro's got a shot as well. They're off the turn, and suddenly Broth's in front by 4. Broth took charge off the turn and kicked away. Broth by 5 now. Kid Lemuel 2nd, trying to come on once again. Then it's One Last Strike and Elgar and Take Charge Doro, 16th to go. Broth leads down to 3. Kid Lemuel's finishing fast. Can he get there? No, Broth held on. Broth was desperate late, but the winner nonetheless. Kid Lemuel was 2nd. One Last Strike and Elgar.
Oh, this was starting to get dicey late. Broth did not break well. Still goes on to win as he holds off the favorite.
Wow, but it looked like it was going to be close. Wow. The favorite running at the end. It went from being completely over at the 8th pole. Nothing's ever easy in this game, right?
Never.
7 was rolling, and the 11 didn't break that great either. It still won this race. Look how clear they are.
I think I crushed the exacta, the old last and 2nd place exacta.
Yeah, that 10 didn't run a
Greg,
step.
you don't want $1 for that?
Let's look at the 11.
Oh, he didn't. He sort of like scooted out of there, like, you know what I mean? He stumbled just a tiny bit.
He broke like he finished the last 1/8 of a mile, slowly.
But enough to hang on because he ran very good in the middle of the race. That works for him. So 3rd win in 9 career starts.
For trainer, I'm going to try it. Murat, Kazmarov.
3-1. He went off at 3-1.
Who do you think you are, Frank Lyons?
Broth gets the job done. After struggling to hit her best stride in 2019, a late proved Saturday in the Fleur-de-Lis. She is far from done in the Distaff division. We'll take a look back. More from Saturday at Churchill next.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, No problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there watching. Our show brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Action for Belmont, Churchill Downs, both coming up. And we're going to look back at what Late did in the Fleur de Lis. And this was a powerful performance.
As you point out, Greg, she's only about 5 or 6 horses away from being undefeated. It was really great to see her get back on track, actually. And it wasn't a particularly quick pace. She kind of broke a step slow. She was hemmed in a little on the inside. Jose got her outside, and she wore down some very nice fillies, and she's a Julie as well as
Blue Prize.
Blue Prize.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see her get back to the winner's circle, and hopefully she can take another step forward.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, I watched it, ended up watching it a couple times. I like the way she strided out. You could see Jose gave a little fist pump at the end of this, thinking, okay, my mare's back. She's a Julie I think might have held off Blue Prize if a Late would have never went by, because she was hanging a little bit, Blue Prize. But give Blue Prize credit for going by. But a Late beat 2 nice little fillies last night. And when the board opened, She's a Julie was a big favorite, and a Late was dead on the board, and then they ended up betting a Late to be in favoritism. But
Greg
I think a
knows
lot
why.
of people were there was some skepticism there, but it's good to see that she's back.
Greg, you know why she was favored. She's a Julie.
What's that?
All the people named Julie were betting her early.
That's your theory.
You know that.
You love that theory.
You know that.
Credit to Belmont, too. He's done a tremendous job with
Yeah.
a Late. She has battled her entire career, chronic splint issues, and despite that, I mean, she's been remarkably consistent.
No, she's been one of the best filly or mares in the country now for 3 straight years.
Yeah.
Could next target the Delaware handicap, where we've seen her before, at 1.25 miles. That's according to Walker Hancock of Claiborne. So wait and see if she picks that spot next. But obviously the long-term target, getting the job done in the Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Well, and the personal ensign in Saratoga. I was texting a little bit Walker last night, and we'll see her in the personal ensign,
Yeah,
where
he
she
was-
looks to win that race that she took a tough beating last year.
That's what he was pointing towards, the personal ensign, and then go from there. We already know she loves Saratoga, so that's a good thing.
Broth did not break well, didn't finish well, but still was able to get the win.
Listen, nothing like a good broth either.
I should have stayed with him after Frank said I liked him. I should have said, Frank was right, I did like this
As
horse.
you look at race number 9, this is a good field. 50 non-winners of 2, and you scratched a 1 and 8, and a wide open field, Wolfie. And they're betting the 6. I can see awful win for Al Stall from the Todd Pletcher barn to the Al Stall barn, and 7 furlongs in the dirt, although the horse broke his maiden on the turf.
Yeah, it run well in dirt, though. Certainly
Yeah.
ran very good 2 starts back. And actually, the debut ran, although a distant second on dirt. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Still about 21 minutes away from that 9th at Churchill's. We return to Belmont. And this is a 1 mile and a 16th. Just a 5-horse field in this $100,000 optional claiming field. As you look there at Roaming Union.
Well, we lost our favorite, right? When the 1 came out, it was going to be a heavy favorite. Opens it up a bit more.
Yeah, expert. And probably it opens it up. I would think by post time, Timber Ghost is going to be your favorite, at least in the multis.
I don't get Timber Ghost. He is favored. It's close. He's favored. I don't get Timber Ghost at all. How is he getting the lead from Lenstar here unless Lenstar falls coming out of the gate?
That's true. Can he pass Lenstar? You don't think he can pass horses?
I'm not a Timber. Listen, I'll get him the winner's circle. I'm not a
With
fan.
all the pace in here, doesn't it set up perfectly for this horse right here?
Well, I agree. I think that the Backside of the Moon, I think he might be the best horse in the race in his best race, and it sets him well for him. I agree, Greg.
Let's head downstairs. Paddock report time. Maggie Wolfendale.
Totally agree with you guys, and I'll catch up with his trainer, Backside of the Moon, Leo O'Brien, in just a few moments. But I want to take a look at a few horses, and as you guys alluded to, there certainly isn't a shortage of speed in here as they tried to get the job done with number 3, Tour de Force, last time by setting a slow pace in Mountain 3/8 flat out stakes. And yeah, I know he was probably beaten by better horses than what he's facing here, but it was kind of disappointing. I remember talking to Rudy Rodriguez's brother/assistant, Gustavo, after the race, and he felt disappointed too. I mean, you know, he said, look, he's such a good-looking horse. It feels as though he should be a bit better than what he is displayed, and I couldn't agree with him more. Though, once again, he looks utterly fantastic here, but I just don't, he has shown an ability to come from off the pace, don't get me wrong, but I want him to prove that he's a good horse out on the racetrack, not just looking at him here in the paddock, as we'll take a look at number 5, Timber Ghost, who has gotten 2 sloppy sealed tracks in his last 2 efforts, but they were also his first 2 efforts going long, and they're not bad efforts. I'm wondering what this guy can do on a fast track going a distance of ground. I think he might like it, to be honest. And 2, last time, he just didn't look quite as good, and now he's back to the high energy, carrying a lot of weight, a lot of muscle mass, Timber Ghost that I'd seen 2 starts ago. So Timber Ghost is intriguing. We'll see what he does going a Mountain 16th on a fast track, Greg.
Maggie, thank you for that paddock report. We're going to have the post parade when we come back after a short timeout on this Father's Day edition of America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, Altitude Network, and Fox Sports Prime Ticket. We'll be back.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This successful son of A.P. Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong. Coming home.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Here's Bennett to stardom, making her papa proud. The Star Guitar filly.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong.
Back at America's Day at the Races, brought to you by champion sprinter Runhappy, now standing at Claiborne Farm. And we're going to see his offspring on the racetrack in 2020 win an open non-restricted maiden race next year with a Runhappy 2-year-old $100,000 bonus coming your way. Here's Len Star to kick off our post parade, trained by Nick Zito. Dylan Davis rides.
Yeah, the one to catch in here, and 2 for 9 the last 2 years, and like I said, does the running like his daddy, Shackelford. Tries to take him gate to wire.
Tour de Force, he is quick as well for Rudy Rodriguez. Irad Ortiz Jr.'s won 3 today.
He was a good form for Lacey Cadet. He's in great form for Rudy Rodriguez. And while he has speed, he does not need to lead to win. A major player.
Pace-wise, could set up perfectly for this 7-year-old right here for Leo O'Brien, backside of the moon.
The problem is 1 for 11 and 0 for 11. 1 for 11 the last 2 years. 0 for 11 at Belmont, so needs to break through.
Timber Ghost, more speed. This horse for Jimmy Jerkins with Junior Alvarado.
If you like this horse, you should be heartened that Maggie liked him in the paddock. I don't like any of his races and don't think he's good enough.
Roaming Union outside 6-1. It should not be too far out of the early pace either.
It was behind Timber Ghost 2 back on the slop, and then last time ran a decent race last time, but was 5 wide most of the way. So 6-1, you're getting your price.
The favorite 3-2 on the board. That horse right there, backside of the moon, standing by with his trainer. Let's go to Maggie.
Thanks, Greg. And here with Leo O'Brien, sending out backside of the moon. And I think people are seeing, well, the same thing we saw is there's a lot of speed in here. And your horse likes to come from off the pace, Leo.
He does, absolutely. And he loves to have something to run at. And actually, he's better off on the inside than he is on the outside. So if we can do that, we could win.
And also, you had to be encouraged by his performance last time out here at Belmont, coming in from a bit of a layoff.
That's right, yeah. And I believe it was 7/8 or a mile that day. And I think it was too short. Another 16th of a mile we'd have won probably.
Also having your son-in-law in the irons, and it's Father's Day. I think that's like a perfect storm, right?
I think you're right.
Is there any pressure that kind of between you two, you know, family ties?
No, not at all. No, I just root for him all the time, and he roots for me too, I think.
Well, that's great. Leo, wishing you the best of luck here. Looking pretty good as far as the pace setup.
Oh, yes. It looks great, actually, at the moment. But you never know.
It is horse racing, right?
Horse racing, exactly.
Well, Leo, we'll see what you do. Thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome.
All right, guys, backside of the moon, he's taking all the money.
All in the family for these connections. John Velasquez aboard for Leo O'Brien. Backside of the moon, 8-5 favorite. Is it too easy? Racing never usually is.
I think the 3-horse can win this race. I mean, Paul likes Timber Ghost. I don't, but Paul likes him. I'm not so sure. Leo O'Brien, of course, trained the great 4-star Dave.
Yeah, the 3 can win this race for sure. Tour de Force, because if you think about it, I mean, this horse is cutting back in distance and will be the horse that could be rolling late too. You know, the 3.
Here's Tour de Force. He opened up early trying to steal that race last time out under Kendrick Carmouche, who we know is so ultra aggressive. That was a 1 3/8 in the flat out, opened up 6.5 lengths early on, but could not hang on.
I think if you're Irad Ortiz, and I know Irad likes to get out in the middle of the track, the rail's been pretty good. The ideal ride in this horse is to tuck over on the rail behind the likely speed of Lenstar and Timber Ghost, tuck in behind them and hope to get that right inside trip behind them, and then hope you can hold off whether it's a closer like Roman Union or the number 4 backside of the moon.
Timber Ghost should be the quick of the quick, right?
I thought Lenstar's faster. One thing about
really?
Nick Zito and the trainer of Lenstar, Nick would send a dead closer to lead. I mean, he's a guy who believes in the value of speed. He won a Derby with a speed horse, and I have to think Lenstar has one way to go, and that's the front. He's fast.
Yeah, he's very fast, and you're going to find out today whether Timber Ghost can go by somebody going the distance of ground, because that's what's going to have to happen today. I would think Junior Alvarado is not going to try to get into a giant pace paddle, but Timber Ghost's never been this far over a dry surface, only sloppy surfaces.
5-2 on Timber Ghost, trying to win for the 4th time in 9 career starts. As you look again at the favorite, don't forget, get signed up, started with NYRA Bets. Go to NYRABets.com, download the app, and you can play along with all these races that we show you here. And John Velasquez, those feet out of the irons there, trying to relax this 7-year-old Ridgeling.
Can we, on a tangent here, talk a little about Maximum Security, who's running 20 minutes from now at Monmouth Park?
If you want to, go ahead.
What do you think? Anybody starting competition for him today? Todd Pletcher has 2 in there.
Is there really a competition for
No, if he runs his race, he's going to win. I'm very interested to see what he does, though.
Okay. 1-2 on the morning line.
And we will show you a replay afterwards.
Yeah, we'll show it to you in its entirety when it's all wrapped up. In the meantime, the 7th here, 8-5 favorite. Backside of the Moon. As Paul mentioned, 0 for 11 here at Belmont. Can he overcome that? He's not going to get really a better look at it in terms of race shape than right here to try and get that victory and end that streak here at Belmont. As we look at the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 follow along, formful so far.
Formful, but not super short. And we'll see what happens here. I mean, listen, on paper, if races are never run on paper, around here, getting a pace to develop on the racetrack seems to be a very rare occurrence. We don't have aggressive riders.
A lot of people here at Belmont Park. Good to see. Great crowd out here for Father's Day. And just a lot of action. Also have a car show here down underneath the where the train station is over there. So just a ton of action, barbecues. The yard actually looks like Saratoga on a Saturday. It's amazing, and a great crowd and great weather.
That it is.
There's a look at this place. Packed house.
It's like Belmont Day.
For Belmont is as close as you can get, because this is a big venue.
Yeah.
But has a great feel with a nice crowd on hand today.
And glad we could get the rain to hold off.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be anything until after we're done racing, so that's good news as well. These turf courses, doesn't matter how much it rains, these turf courses can always use a drink, right?
Yeah.
The water dries so quickly this time of the year. 3 different picks.
Dylan Davis, he is on Lenstar. The 2-horse at 10-1. He's going to be, of course, on the Speedster in here, but also the Speedster coming up in our feature. That's Dr. Edgar in the poker, which is still to come. And he has been a fascinating story as a 6-year-old, has really come into his own, collecting the first stakes win of his career, just 2 starts back in the Grade 3 Appleton, and he'll be the one to beat coming up.
He's going to be the one to beat, the one to catch, and in a very, very tight, good field coming up in the poker. Stay with us, because
it's a great race.
That's going to be a great race.
Loading up here for the 7th. There's Dylan Davis stepping in on Lenstar for Nick Zito. Favorite, though, at 8-5. Backside of the Moon, the 4-horse for Leo O'Brien with John Velasquez. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown. For the call, Larry Collmus.
Here is Backside of the Moon going into the starting gate at odds of 8-5. Will be followed by Timber Ghost and Roaming Union to complete the line. Roaming Union coming forward. Takes a turn before going in. Now steps up. And they're all in line. They're off. Lenstar from the inside right to the front. And then it's Tour de Force away running in second. These two with the most early foot, and Timber Ghost is third outside of them. Then Roaming Union and Backside of the Moon will be last of them all, but only 2.5 lengths off of Lenstar, who heads them up the backstretch and neck in front. Tour de Force is second. Timber Ghost is third. Backside of the Moon now grabs fourth after a 23.49 quarter. Roaming Union is just 3.5 behind at the back of the pack. It is Lenstar up top. Dylan Davis and Lenstar making this pace. Tour de Force 3/4 of a length behind, running in second. Then Timber Ghost, Backside of the Moon, is on the rail. Just 2.5 lengths from Lenstar and just ahead of Roaming Union at the back of the field. 46.44 was the half, and there's a half mile to go. Lenstar all the way so far. Tour de Force continues to press from the outside. A 3-wide run from Timber Ghost. Backside of the Moon is under pressure now, being asked for more run down toward the rail, but isn't giving it at this stage. Then Roaming Union to the outside, around the far turn. Lenstar kicks away by a length. And then it's Tour de Force in second. On the far outside, Timber Ghost is third as they turn for home. Roaming Union is taken fourth, and then Backside of the Moon. They're coming to the 8th pole, and here comes Timber Ghost. Timber Ghost forging to the front with 1/8 of a mile to go. Lenstar on the inside, then Tour de Force and Roaming Union on the far outside. Not today for Backside of the Moon. It's Timber Ghost. And Timber Ghost and Junior Alvarado win it 1.5 lengths. Roaming Union was second, Tour de Force and Lenstar.
Not able to get to the front with the speedy Lenstar, but gets the job done late here. Junior Alvarado, Jimmy Jerkins, Timber Ghost. This crowd down the stretch, it sounded like Belmont Day.
Yeah, I was surprised actually that Junior decided to ride this horse this way, but he must have been instructed, hey, stay out in the middle of the race course. This horse doesn't like dirt in his face, because he laid third. And for a horse that we thought might not be able to get the distance, or that was the question, he sort of just grinded away. Let's be honest, not the best field in the world.
No, I think obviously Backside of the Moon didn't run a step in here. He was awful finishing last, but good call, Paul. Source just stalked outside and proved much the best.
And unfortunately, Backside of the Moon, he just had no punch today.
He didn't. He just had nothing. Roman Union's the only one that really made up any ground, the 6.
5-6, 3-2 finish. Tim Burgos collects the 4th win of his career in 9 starts. 2nd win in 3 tries at Belmont. He wins it 2-1 as the 2nd choice on the board. We'll be back with prices. We'll set up our feature race, the Poker, Grade 3, next.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase. He won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Montfort Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
It's fantastic. It brings back all kinds of great memories, come with family, different generations. I got my grandfather here.
And now that I have my own kids, it's a tradition to them that when they have kids, they do the same thing.
We've been doing it for almost 30, 40 years now, so I love it. You know, now my grandkids here, my family, my friends.
It's beautiful because of the fact that we're here with all family. I go, it's a great thing, it's a nice outing. We have a lot of food, a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of laughs. Okay, and hopefully win some money.
Back on this Father's Day edition of America's Day at the Races. Tim Burgos, strong finish here under Junior Alvarado for trainer Jimmy Jerkins. Son of Ghost Zapper gets the win.
Yeah, Fleet Alex Mare Harissa for Stronach Stables, 4 for 9 lifetime. That pick 3 comes back $39 for that late pick 5 follow along.
Our feature race, it is coming up next. The Grade 3 Poker, 1 mile on the turf. Purse of $300,000 and the Speedster outside. Dr. Edgar with Dylan Davis for Barclay Tag. Trying to win his 2nd graded stakes in his last 3 starts. Favored at 3-1. More on this race coming up in a moment. Let's go back to Churchill Downs and Frank Lyons.
Thanks, Greg. In this race, I believe that the 1A Carrizo for trainer Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana are going to take all the beating. She broke her maiden first time out here at Churchill very impressively. Then she's just run 4 times, a little disappointing in 3 starts, prior to that. So the 1A Carrizo, that's the horse that I put on top. And it's a wide open race, to be honest with you. Like the 5, 6, and 7 all look pretty much dissimilar. But I do think that the 6 horse, I mean, just let me ask you, why is this filly owned by Star Ladies Racing, previously trained by Todd Pletcher, who broke her maiden last time out. Why is she in for 50,000 if she costs 125,000 as Keeneland as a September yearling? So I think it's a little suspicious that the 6 horse is just at 7-2 right now. The 1 horse is 8-5. 5 is 7-2, 6 is 7-2, 7 is 4-1. So it is a wide open betting race. The 7, Good Creation. Donny Von Himmel is the trainer. This one's run 14 times for a win, 2 seconds and 3/3, 108,000. Also, the 6 make a little mischief. She was beaten 9 lengths by a filly called Tappett's Princess last time, or 2 starts back. That's Happy Alters filly. She was beaten 22.5 lengths next time out in an allowance race. So, not the I didn't see anything really that I love about the 6, but I do like the way the 1 looks on the track. But she's 3-2 now. If you're hooking her up in a late double, hook her up with the 11 horse, okay, in the last race. 111, late double. Greg?
Good Creation for that outside post is racing well. Lady of Luxury comes on through 2. Carrizo is also there. Make a Little Mischief bobble just a bit coming out of the gate and comes up. And Flash and Dance is flashing speed too. Flash and Dance comes on through to take charge. And just like that, in front of length and a half, Lady of Luxury running in 2nd. Carrizo on the inside is away 3rd. Make a Little Mischief is racing 4th. Good Creation is 5th. Gold Credit is 6th. Veiled Vixen at the back of the pack. Chasing Flash and Dance down the backstretch run. Leading by a length and a half. Lady of Luxury stalking from 2nd, the quarter. On the board in 22-4. Make a Little Mischief is 3 wide. Good Creation is 4 wide onto the far turn. Carrizo is tucked away 5th and down inside. Gold Credits into the race as well. Well within striking range, only 2 lengths back. Veiled Vixen is winding up from the last spot to be 3 wide on the far turn run, but is only 4 lengths behind. Wide open at the quarter pole. Lady of Luxury comes away with the lead as Flash and Dance gives way. Make a Little Mischief is there. Good Creation. Veiled Vixen pops outside for a stretch bit on the far outside. Gold Credit and Carrizo in behind. There's 1 furlong to go. Lady of Luxury, tenuous lead. Good Creation. Veiled Vixen continues to close. Down the center of the track, it's Veiled Vixen in front. Good Creation finishing fast too. These 2 to the wire. Good Creation got it. Outrunning Veiled Vixen to the end. Farther back, Carrizo or Lady of Luxury.
7-3, close for 3rd. Good Creation, now 2 for 15 wins for Donny Von Himmel.
Yeah, the horse that was coming back in distance. I know you like this horse,
turn
Andy.
back.
Yeah, the turn back in distance. This is your favorite move. And you know what? It outlasted the 3 at the end.
It's amazing. This horse never looked he looked like he was going to win on the turn.
Yeah, I know.
And then it looked like he had nothing in the stretch. He was going to back up, and she gattled back between horses.
That's a good exacta.
Want to call 3rd there? 1A or the 5?
Oh, I wasn't watching, but
Maybe
this is a
the
nice
1A?
exacta. The 3 was 17 to 1.
I would not have had the 3. I would not. I would have boxed 5-7.
Yeah, 5-1 over 17-1. And either the 1A or 5 for 3rd may have been the remaining half of the entry. But this is, going to be a very healthy exacta here. But good battle down the stretch between both these 2. And in defeat, Veiled Vixen runs a very good one for Steve Hobby with Tyler Bays. So we'll have those prices coming up for you in a bit. And we're getting set for our feature race coming up out here at Belmont in the Grade 3 Poker. We're going to continue to look back, though, Saturday night, Churchill Downs and the Cassies doing some good things. Mark Cassie marched to the arch, collecting the first graded stakes win of this 4-year-old's career.
This was a good ride by Tyler Gaffleone because, he's sort of been Mark's go-to rider, obviously. He's going to swing right off the big long shot. The 2 on the rail is 70 to 1 in the 15. He swung off the 15's cover, but the 2 is 70 to 1, who he clipped right at the end, Andy.
Yeah, no, it's a nice ride by him. Nice ride on the long shot, 2nd, going on the inside. And inside was key. I mean, they'd taken the rails down for the first time in a while at Churchill, which often leaves the very inside pass very good. An excellent ride by Julian Leperoux. He wanted the lead, and he really took it from the gray, the 1 early in the race, and it made the difference. That 1 horse could not get by.
Yeah, hard-legged. She has a tendency to break a little bit slow. She broke very sharp last night and goes wire to wire for the win. The first stakes win for Norm Cassie in his career. He says hopefully the first of many to come.
Yeah, and there was basically your late pick 5 that paid like $1,200 over there, but those are your winners right there. Mr. Money, very, very impressive, and then a late getting back on
By
track.
the way, pretty cool. Hard Legacy, owned by Mary Lou Whitney Stables. That race obviously pays homage to the 1915 Kentucky Derby winner, Regret, the first filly to win the race, who was owned by Harry Payne Whitney, the father of Mary Lou Whitney's late husband.
Cool.
Yeah. And you could see the asterisk was the win in you're in, a late Seeking the Soul. Both are going to be in the Breeders' Cup, and I both think they'll be players, I would think, no?
Would hope so if you have them.
Yeah, right.
Seeking the Soul's not winning the Classic with my money, but then again, I bet a lot of losers in the Classic.
Well, they're just happy. We'll see. I mean, he's run big. They're happy to be in the race. They wanted to be in it last year, didn't get an opportunity to run. 17th on that preference list, had to go to the dirt mile instead. They're going to get to go to the race they want to be in this year.
Well, they've been trying to get that grade 1, and then what happens? The Clark gets designated to grade 2 this year, so they don't get the grade 1, but they still get the W.
Grade 3 poker, our feature race, and it is a good one coming up here at Belmont Park. 1 mile on the turf. Clyde's Image, 2-1 favorite right now, but it's Dr. Edgar who is the morning line favorite. With his speed outside, he is ultra dangerous.
He is, but Clyde's Image is favored in doubles and considerably favored. I am surprised here. I really thought they'd make Dr. Edgar the favorite. He's been in great form, and he looks to control. Does he look too good, Paul?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Clyde's Image is so tough to judge. Ran behind Delta Princess, Curbon, Bricks and Mortar, who is the best older horse by far in the turf division here in America. He was 27-1 and 46-1 in those days. Now, do you want him at 2-1 today? I get it. It's against a lesser group, but there's still some talented horses and geldings in here.
Also, Clyde's Image's last 2 races were on good turf. This is a very firm course.
True.
And since he's favored, I think it's very important to bring that up.
Does own victories, though, and on a firm turf.
He does.
Just not as good as his recent, but in all likelihood, he's just an improved horse.
But seeing those last 2 races, and I mean, it's not just grade 1. Those were good grade 1s with top competition.
No, he's
seeing what he did in there, you still...
No, I'm not against him. Honestly, I wouldn't bet him at 2-1.
No, but you thought Dr. Edgar should be favored.
I thought he would be favored.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, because he's the controlling speed. And what's wrong with his efforts? Yes, the one you are absolutely right. He's been running against better horses and running well against him. But don't you think the pace advantage for Dr. Edgar would make him the favorite?
But the problem that I have, I understand Clyde's Image is the horse to beat, but you can find a race in Gucci Factor, the 4, Ticonderoga, the 6, Breaking the Rules has got a race that beats him, and Dr. Edgar if he gets loose on the lead. I think all of those horses all got a shot.
I think every horse in this race has a chance, to be honest with you.
That would mean...
You like Master Marion a little bit, the 5 you even thought.
I think that 5 has a big shot
I
in
think
this race.
Krampus, or however you pronounce his name. Will you decide how to pronounce his name, Greg?
Krampus.
We're going with Krampus. I think Krampus has a chance. Krampus had a brutal trip in his last race.
Did.
And 2 back, he beat the 8, breaking the rules. And he beat him fair and square.
Oh, he's got the trainer who loves this race more than anybody else. Belmont trying to win this race for a 5th time. There is a look at Ticonderoga. Chad Brown. It's not often we have a turf race coming up that's a major race on the day, and he is not the center of attention.
Well, he was coming off a 2-win race win streak, almost a 3-race win streak, and he got dead stopped last time. And you just draw a line through that race. You had no shot. So you look at his other races, he's 33%. He's 5 for 15 lifetime. He's the definite player in here. He just needs things to go his way because he comes from way out of it.
I picked him right. I agree. He's going to have to sit back and last and make one run and hope he can make that kind of run. But I took a shot with him. I thought he'd be a decent price.
Back in Churchill Downs, good creation over the long shot, Veiled Vixen, and a good stretch stool here. That exacta, $105 coming back.
Congratulations. Took 2 for 15 lifetime and finally 1 for 8. Finally got a win over the Churchill Downs course. Donnie Von Hemmel. Creative Cause out of the Devil's Bag mare. Wow, you don't see many of those around anymore. Dance to Reason. Congratulations to Chris Landeros. Very underrated rider.
7-3-5-1 a finish in that 10th at Churchill. Sorry, in the 9th at Churchill. The 10th still to come, which is coming off the turf. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there watching. Thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us. Our feature race, Grade 3 Poker. It is coming up next.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and He does everything that we like to do so far. Our plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Eclipse champion Blaine was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault, and graded stakes winners Morale, Beyond Blaine, Miss Kentucky, and Blaine. This year, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $700,000. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
La Rocks has taken the lead. Projected on the outside into second. Catapult has dropped back. Night Prowler is on the far outside. But as they come into the final 16th, it's Bala Rocks. And on the inside, Projected trying to close in late. These two down to the line. Bala Rocks and Jose Lezcano win the poker.
Well, that was last year in the poker. Bala Rocks holding off Projected. Starting in 2017. Jose Lezcano. For that man right there, Bill Mott, who has won this race 4 times in his career, trying to collect a 5th this time around with Collmus, and Jose Lezcano will be back aboard for him.
Yeah, and Lezcano been on a roll this meet. One of those type of meets where he's just been unreal, 28%, and he seems like he's always clicking at the right time.
And that race there that year, 2 years ago, Bill Mott made the right call because they were thinking about going to a $100,000 stake at Canterbury. Bill Mott said, we are going to the poker, end of story, and it worked out.
And Jose Lezcano rode like Angel Cordero in there in the old days. He was riding every horse in the race at some point during it. Long inquiry, and they left him up.
Time for a paddock report for our featured event. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And as you guys are just saying, Bill Mott looking to take this race for the 5th time, as we'll take a look at his horse. Bit of an outsider. That's number 3, Collmus. But as Andy said, honestly, I could do the same and make a case for every horse in here, especially from the physical aspect of things. But Collmus is interesting because they're going to apply just a shortcut blinker, and he's a horse that has done his best running, especially when you look back at that Canadian turf at Gulfstream, when he's closer to a pace. And he's given me every indication that he could be tracking just behind Dr. Edgar here in this poker. He's got great energy. Look at those ears forward. He's been marching around this paddock, and those blinkers on. I think that's what Connections are intending for here with Collmus, as we will check in with the speedster and one of the favorites. That's number 9, Dr. Edgar. But what I like about him this time is actually he is controlling his energy. He's usually a little bit more feisty than this. We'll see. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know, to be honest. He is a little bit more quiet here in the paddock, but physically, he utterly looks tremendous. And getting back to a mile distance is ideal. You look at him, and he's actually built more like a sprinter, so it makes sense that a mile on the turf is what he wants to do. Next, we'll check in with number 4, Gucci Factor, off the back of a win in New York bred company. But I really feel like, as a 6-year-old, albeit, Gucci Factor's really turned a corner. A horse who, in the past, has really gotten too wound up and his mind just wasn't focused on racing, and it really feels like in the last 6 months he's put it all together. You see, he does have earplugs in, he has his cotton in his ears just to keep him at bay, but he's really held it together beautifully, and I just feel like he's doing well heading into this effort. And then finally, number 6 is Ticonderoga, which I don't love this horse by any means, but he is going out for Chad Brown. You always have to pay attention to his horses in these turf stakes. And the mile, he never grew. That was my main complaint with him, but the mile suits him because he never grew. He looks fantastic. He's carrying his weight well. He's well conditioned, and I know Andy has a thing for this horse as well, and I really agree with him that the mile distance is his best. Greg?
Fascinating field coming up, and there is Ticonderoga, Jose Ortiz. Jose won this race last year on Oscar Performance. In the process, set a North American record for a mile on the turf.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good race last year. That was some performance by him last year. Yeah.
Gosh almighty.
Yeah, that was a great race.
He literally looked like he was moving 2 times faster.
That was a race. Voodoo Song ran third, and he ran huge to run third in that race.
Yeah, he did.
Time for our post parade. It's brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, go to OCDpellets.com. Our post parade for the Grade 3 poker. Here is Clyde's Image coming out of back-to-back Grade 1s where he hit the board in both.
Right, you can think he's getting class relief, but he may be in the toughest Grade 3 run in America this year.
Hembry, trained by Mike Maker. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard. He won this race in 2015 on King Crisa.
He's always a dangerous horse. A lot of these horses in here are all dangerous because they come from so far out of it. With a trip, he can win.
4-time winner of the race, Belmont, sends out Krampus with Jose Lezcano.
Maybe the most interesting long shot in the race. He had a terrible trip last time and ran well enough to be a contender 2 back.
The ever-improving Gucci Factor for Christophe Clement has Joel Rosario aboard.
Yeah, going to take on open here is the New York bred. I thought Jose gave this horse a great ride last time out. Now Joel aboard.
Long shot for Wesley Ward. Manny Franco rides Master Marion.
Yeah, I actually think he ran well last time in a race the pace held together. He's just very tough today.
Ticonderoga for Chad Brown. Woodford Racing, Jose Ortiz aboard.
He's a little bit like Embry, but a little bit better. If he gets the trip, he's going to be flying late.
Breaking the rules, Shug McGay, he switched him to turf 5 starts back, and he has done some good things on the grass.
Yeah, you know, he was up wide last time, so Johnny V's probably going to try to get him towards the second flight maybe, and maybe covered up early.
And a healthy 7-2 on the horse who's going to control things up front. Dr. Edgar for Barclay Tag.
If he wins this race, we'll be saying, how come we didn't take a nice price on a horse who's the controlling speed? And he is good.
All right, so that is your group here for the Grade 3 poker as we look back at breaking the rules. Son of Warfront for Shug McGahee, and they made the switch to turf last summer. Saratoga, since that time, he's won a stakes race at Gulfstream, and he's graded stakes place as well.
He's just, I mean, other than that sort of inexplicable race 4 back when he couldn't make the lead, I mean, he just runs well every time he hits the racetrack.
Yeah, it is true. I always call these kind of horses the lunch pail horses. They always run well, and it just seems like he's always right there.
All right, let's head downstairs to Maggie.
Here with trainer Tom Bush, sending out number 1, Clyde's Image. And Tom, he's kind of like the poster child for the overachiever, but this time you actually find yourself at a short price. I mean, talk about his record this past winter.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he had the long layoff and he won here off that layoff, and then we took him to Florida and we couldn't get him back in with the rain and off the turf a couple of times, and we finally got to run, and he had a pretty difficult trip, and then we came back in an allowance race and he won very nicely. So Mrs. Sullivan loves Keeneland, and we had the horse kind of revved up to go, and we decided to take a chance, and he didn't disappoint us.
and then third behind Bricks and Mortar.
Yeah, that was a double tough race, but he came out of the race well at Keeneland, and we kept him there the whole time. It was very quiet when the meet was over, and he did very well there, and we just brought him over to Churchill a couple days before, so we knew he was set to run another big one, and he did.
Now, where do you see him in the placing of this race? Because we're turning back a mile, and it's not like he's devoid of speed, but there are some horses that can go.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that someone would maybe go with the outside horse to do some of the work for us, but I'm not so certain that's going to happen, and we may be a part of that too then. But I left it up to Javier.
You have the right man on his back, Hall of Famer.
Yes, true. We're happy to have him.
Well, wishing you the best of luck here with Clyde's Image. Really fun horse to watch, Tom.
Thank you very, very much.
All right, guys, we'll see what Clyde can do from the inside.
Well, some things are worth waiting for, and with the development of Clyde's Image as a 5-year-old, becoming multiple Grade 1 placed in just his last 2 starts, he has certainly been worth the wait.
No, and you know, it's interesting if you draw almost a parallel between him and Bricks and Mortar, right? Both of those horses had long layoffs late in their 3-year-old years, and they both come back and turned out to be major racehorses.
Well, it just shows you that we're looking at the 4 now. Gucci Factor just shows you the older they get, the better they are. We just are used to horses retiring early now this day and age. But there's Gucci Factor, and I thought that Jose Ortiz gave this horse a great ride. There was a horse that was loose on the lead, runaway runner, and he just sort of just bided his time, and then he ran that horse down late.
Did you look at that race, Andy, from Gucci Factor last time out? I mean, that was, you can make the argument, the best race of his career. Is he just getting better now as a 6-year-old?
I mean, unless you are firmly believe he's improved on softer ground, but it's not like his return race, which was on softer ground, was so good. How can you not say that he's just developing? He's finally getting a chance. And listen,
that was a good field.
Yeah, and as we said, the 5th place finisher won that hugely competitive race at Churchill Downs last night. The winner, crushed the field in the Manhattan, arguably their biggest turf race of the year.
Offering Plans a win machine.
Good horse. Yeah. What can you say? How can you be against him? I mean, he's the horse to beat.
This horse is dangerous too, Embry. You don't think so?
12 to 1. No, did you say he's the horse to beat?
No, dangerous. I said the one's the horse to beat.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't say Hembry was the horse to beat. I'm insane.
No, I was going back to Gucci Factor.
No,
12 to 1 on Hembry for Mike Maker. So he comes off a second in the opening verse at Churchill.
His race
he comes from, far out of it.
Yeah, he does. But look at his one race at Belmont. June 16th, 2008. They went blazing fractions, and Kendrick Carmouche had him right up on the pace. So he can come from way out of it, but he's been a sprinter before. So I don't know if he's going to be as far as he was
I think
Churchill.
He's become a bit of a plotter over time.
Yeah,
I think his running style has changed. You know, you look at his – I'm not saying he has no chance, and he's a price. You look at the running line, and he looks like he ran really well on the running line. You watch the race, he clunked up for second like a 4-horse photo for second.
I'm just saying he finished ahead of, by the way.
Bella Rocks, yeah.
Yeah, but that's maybe
not
the
race.
Maybe not the one that won it 2 years ago. No,
but still interesting. He beat the poker winner from 2017.
CM ran last night at Churchill, didn't run well. That whole field really did not run well. So I understand where Andy's going. My thing is just like, Embry's a lot like a lot of these horses in here, comes from way out of it, and if can get the right trip, can win.
I think a lot of horses can get the right trip. You know, I mean, if I think if a deep closer wins this race personally,
it's a 6.
I think it's going to be Ticonderoga, right? That to me. You know, you've got horses that are going to be sort of near the pace, and whether it's a Gucci Factor, even Krampus should be more forwardly placed. I can't imagine Clyde's Image is going to be far out of it. He's supposed to be fitting second. And that's the thing about Clyde's Image. He's not supposed to be pace compromised either.
Let's check in with Maggie again.
You guys mentioning the pace. As Tom Bush said, Dr. Aguirre on paper looks like the confirmed speed, but I feel like there's some intention with number 3, Krampus, who is the longest shot on the board right now. With those blinkers on, Jose Lezcano gave him a big warm-up here. They're going to keep this horse close to the pace, at least from what I've seen, as we'll take a look at number 8, Breaking the Rules, too. Love this horse turning back in distance. He's built downhill. He's built more like a sprinter, and as I said before, those types of horses on the turf, they like these one-turn miles. And then I want to check in with number 5, because Tom Bush actually told me on the way out here that Master Marion was working with Clyde's Image and keeping right up with him. And this horse has really blossomed as a 5-year-old. He looks better than ever in here. I know he's the big price and he should be the longest price on the board, but he might be doing well enough to get a piece of this, guys.
Well, we talked about it earlier. I mean, his races, Master Marion, the 5-horse, fit with this group. I don't think he should be 17-1.
Horses have to get lost in a race like this. You know, there's just too many horses because they all have a chance. And I'm not going to disagree with you, Greg. I honestly will not be shocked by any result in this race. And I think it's maybe a kind of race you're supposed to look for horses like that to at least try to get into the number somewhere.
Meanwhile, she touched on blinkers going on Krampus, and that's not listed in the racing form. Jose Lizcano giving him aggressive warm-up. Is there any chance he could try and put any pressure on Dr. Edgar?
No, but he could be sitting second or third, depending on how aggressive Clyde's Image is. I mean, you can always ride super aggressive. I don't think you want to get engaged with him, but, you know, if you're good enough and you're sitting a length or two behind him, I think you have a chance to beat him. And I think Krampus is one who's a price who shouldn't be compromised if the pace isn't particularly fast. And if you're Dr. Edgar, by the way, aren't you supposed to use your speed a little bit? And why you want to bunch this field up and then take your chances down the lane? I sure wouldn't.
So the pressure on young Dylan Davis to try and not only get to the front, but dole out that speed appropriately here with him holding all the cards here in the poker, no pun intended.
No, I get what you're saying.
That was a pun intended.
That was a pun intended.
Admit it.
Admit it.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It just kind of came out that way.
You're not fooling anyone.
Grade 3 poker on Father's Day. And a fascinating race. A couple of older horses who have blossomed later in their careers, like the 1 Clyde's Image, the 4 Gucci Factor, and the 9 Dr. Edgar, the 6-year-old, who will try and take him gate to wire under Dylan Davis. Let's go to the voice of New York Racing for the call with the poker. Here's Larry Collmus.
Ready for the start. They're off in the poker. Dr. Edgar straight to the front. Krampus has speed, and so too Clyde's Image on the inside. So it's these 3 out for the front with Breaking the Rules. Away running in 4th and sitting back 4 lengths from the pace. Then Master Marion on the outside of Hembry, Gucci Factor, and Ticonderoga is the trailer. Dr. Edgar shakes away up top. Dylan Davis and Dr. Edgar opening up 2 on Clyde's Image and Krampus. Running an opening quarter mile in 23.71 seconds. Breaking the Rules is 4th and 4 from the front. And then it's Hembry on the inside of Master Marion, 4 clear of Gucci Factor. Ticonderoga is trailing the field 13 lengths off of Dr. Edgar, who heads for the far turn with a 2-length lead on Clyde's Image and Krampus as they race into the turn. Breaking the Rules continues to be 4th and 4 from the front after a 46.68 half mile. And then it's Hembry and Master Marion. Gucci Factor is 7 lengths behind, and Ticonderoga is now within 9 lengths of the lead as they round the far turn. And now it is just a neck advantage here for Dr. Edgar over Clyde's Image as they arrive at the top of the stretch. These 2 turning for home together, Breaking the Rules just off of them. Krampus is backed off to 4th. Master Marion swings up on the outside. They're into the stretch. Clyde's Image on the outside to the front. Dr. Edgar back into 2nd. Krampus comes back in 3rd. Master Marion is next. Then Hembry on the inside, and farther out it's Gucci Factor, and they're coming down to the line. And it's going to be a wild finish. They were all coming in the end. Maybe Hembry. Right there, too, were Gucci Factor, Krampus, as well as Dr. Edgar and Clyde's Image. They were all on the wire.
Photo finish in a poker. I don't think anyone knows who won this race.
Yeah, something happens here with the 1, takes a bad step here close to the wire, and this ends up between the 2 and the 4. The 4 on the outside, ooh, that's very, very tight. But hopefully everything is okay with the 1 horse here, because I don't know if he took bad steps or what happened.
He is over there. I'm looking over there.
I think the 4 won this race on the bob. The 3 is in between horses.
Too. I want to see that super slow-mo if we have it.
Oh, my God. The 1 was going to win this race, and I don't know if he just took bad steps or if he's okay. But, wow.
So, Krampus, the 3.
I think this
at
is
18-1 or Gucci Factor.
No, this is 4-2-3, I think, Wolfie. It's either 4-2 or 2-4, and the 3 was in between
horses.
You're
right. It's either Hembry, it's either 2 or 4. I agree with you, Paul. I thought the 4 got the bob. The 2 was right before the wire, but I thought the 4 nailed with the wire.
We all initially thought Gucci Factor.
Hang on.
Let's see where this
wire
comes up.
Hang on, guys.
See, the 2 gets the bob back, but watch at the end of this. The 4 is physically in front. Right there.
I think the 4 got
Gucci
it.
Factor.
Yeah. I think the 4 got it.
Yeah.
Stop Clement.
This horse is just, well, we talked about him coming off the best performance of his career last time out. That was in his 6-year-old return to the races. Now it looks like he's taking another step forward.
Yeah, it does. And listen, it was a blanket finish. Again, Castellano had the one with Clyde's Image all the way to the wire, and then he just sort of took a bad step. Even the 9 on the rail, Diker Edgar, he started to come back too and made it a 5-horse photo.
Obviously, something went wrong with the one Clyde's Image, because he basically had this race won, to be fair.
No, he did. This is tight.
I believe he's over there.
Ooh. You know, the 2 has the bob in front, but, you know, we got that weird angle. I don't know if this to me, this is 4 or this is dead heat. I guess the way they're looking at this, I don't know. They got the camera on the 2, though, which is very interesting to me. I don't know.
Christophe Clement anxious, waiting to see if his Gucci Factor, in fact, did get up for the win. That's his horse right there.
They also could be looking
Ponti.
for 3rd place. You know, that also could be going on. That's what happened yesterday. They were looking at 3rd place, and they already know who the winner is. So we don't really know.
Anxious moments in a big race like this. This would be a big victory here. Obviously, a turf trainer who's won so many big races over the years in a tremendous career.
Yeah, the lone New York bred too in the race.
Yep.
The lone New York bred. Wow, this is so tight. The three in between horses. The 9, I want to say the 9 in here might have run 4th or 5th by a head. That's how close it was. Wow.
And we do see the horse ambulance going. I know that Clyde's Image is over on the turf horse, over around the turn on the turf course. And obviously the horse ambulance is heading over there.
Another look, though, at that finish. We'll get you an update on Clyde's Image as soon as we can. But an anxious Christophe Clement waiting to see what happens here with this photo finish.
Yeah, and we're anxious to make sure that Clyde's Image is okay. And the longer they keep this up, I would think it's towards a dead
Well, don't
heat.
forget they may be looking at horses besides the first 2. And when you have that
Could it
many
be the
horses,
3 and the 9?
when you have that many horses across the wire, it's a little bit hard sometimes to see
It
horses.
does say photo for win on the in-house feed, so
Yeah, but it's taking so long. I'm
Right.
wondering if others are involved. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Yeah.
Does it look like the 3 runs a clear 3rd in between those
It
horses?
does feel like the 3 was 3rd, yeah. And it feels like the 9 was 4th on the rail. Obviously, if we get a report on Clyde's Image,
I mean, this is,
you can decipher
if we get a report on Clyde's Image, we will let you know.
This is wicked close. And like we said, the longer they wait around, the closer it might be towards a dead heat or not. We'll see.
It is odd. The photos come up very quickly.
So these 2 waiting to find out who is going to be put up.
Little Father's Day drama here. 132 and 2 is the final time. They came home pretty fast. Gosh, this
Where
is
did
long.
this performance come from Embry, from Mike Maker?
Well, we had said, like, whoever got the good trip, that was the horse who got the good trip. Irad Ortiz saved a ton of ground, and then he split horses late. So, you know, you have to have that kind of trip to win races like this at that price. If he was able to hold on, and they still have not put anything up. They keep showing it, and with the big crowd here, they don't really know how to react.
I mean, we could look at this 1,000 times. It's from this angle. It is very tough, and there it is. Gucci Factor put up as your winner. Just barely over Embry, who runs so good in defeat. Krampus, another long shot, completes the trifecta. Dr. Edgar 4th. And there's the smile from Christophe Clement. What a job he has done with this New York bred son of Gio Ponti, who, of course, he trained as well.
You know, we've been waiting for Christophe to sort of break out. Listen, Chad Brown has just been dominating the turf course over the last 3-4 years. But this meet today, Christophe has had a subpar meet for him. I got 11%. Had a winner earlier today, and he gets the win with Gucci Factor.
7th win, 14 career starts, and it's got to feel awfully good for Christophe Clement. That is 3 in a row now, and this horse had pretty much been exclusively racing against New York bred competition. and then he runs lights out against a New York bred field that we talked about was so much stronger really than just a state bred field. Puts him in a grade 3, and he comes up with this performance.
Good performance and great ride by Rosario. He was able to get him outside, and we talked about him earlier being the best finisher in the game. He showed it to you right there.
1:32.2, by the way, for the mile. That is
moving,
blazing fast.
Wow, well, there's the photo.
Said it was an evenly matched
we'll
race.
Get the photo up
Can't
for
get
you
much closer than that.
There is Joel Rosario. Hopefully we can get you the photo. It's crazy. It's one of those kind of photos you want to like almost like frame and put up on your in your room.
It's all smiles in the winner's circle with the crew standing by with Maggie Wolfendale.
Close call, crew, that's for sure here with Gucci Factor. Joel, did you think you won it? Because I know what Christoph thought.
I thought the last, it was pretty close, but I thought the last jump, I thought we might put the head right just in the wire there, but it was pretty close.
Christoph, the development of this horse as a 6-year-old is remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately was not trained by a better trainer because he would have done that earlier. But nice horse, never stopped improving, and the 5 horses finished like 1 head apart, so it's a pretty good race,
Very exciting one, and congratulations to you both to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. Very grateful. Castleton Lion, homebred, so it's fun. Not a homebred, but it's your Joe Ponti, so it's fun.
Nice training a son of Gio Ponti?
Always, yes.
All right, guys, smiles here after a long-waited photo with Gucci Factor in the poker.
Well, Joel Rosario, we've said his name so much over the last couple of weeks, but he is all of a sudden started to raise his game to the next level.
He's one of those guys. He's like a streaky hitter, whatever you want to call him. Clay Thompson, those kind of guys. When they get hot, he gets hot, and he is hot right now.
Listen,
Andy.
He went out to California this winter, and his first time he'd been back there in years, and he reminded them of why he was a leading rider.
And here's the other part. A lot of people forget after he won on Animal Kingdom in the Dubai World Cup, if he didn't get injured, he was on a bigger roll then,
you're right.
And he got injured,
You're right
so
about
sort of
that.
stopped his roll. He's back on it again, and kudos to his agent, Ron Anderson, too, as well.
Been making a lot of great calls for him in terms of mounts that he has taken. We owe you race 10 at Churchill. We're going to bring it to you right now. This race was taken off the turf as a maiden special weight, 5 furlongs, and it was Dixie and Candyland who went off the favorite, the 13. The also eligible drawing in. Let's go to Travis Stone for the call.
And they're off. Good start for Shyla Baby on the far outside, racing for the lead. Yes, it's Ginger with a good start out in second. Blinkers comes on to be third. Dixie and Candyland is on the move from fourth. Nikki Beach is fifth. Early Liner is sixth. And then it's Ruby's Memory running along in seventh. Freedom Passage is eighth. Dreams Are Made in tight at the back with headlining as they round the far turn. Shyla Baby showing the way 3 furlongs out. Yes, it's Ginger keeping the pressure up. They round the far turn together. They're head and head through a quarter in 22-2. Farther back, Freedom Passage rolls up on the outside and grabs third. Top of the stretch. Yes, as Ginger comes way, way wide off the turn, challenging Shyla Baby. They've been at it since the start. Shyla Baby down inside, digging down deep. Yes, as Ginger tries to counter. There's 1 furlong to go. Shyla Baby, narrow lead. Yes, it's Ginger finishing strong. Head and head, 100 yards out. Shyla Baby. Yes, it's Ginger. Yes, it's Ginger. Shyla Baby. Here's the wire. Shyla Baby got it by a nose. Yes, it's Ginger, game but second. Nikki Beach was third. Then it was Blinkers or Dreams Are Made.
Shyla Baby, James DeVito, Tyler Bays, and a daughter of Gradar with the win.
We were one race too late, Andy and I, with James DeVito. Shyla Baby. And this is the horse that Frank gave out. Was talking about the double, play 1-8 to the 11. Hopefully you listened to him on the 11. You got $11?
If you weren't broke after betting the 111 double.
All right, let's get back here to Belmont Park and this photo finish.
It was for fourth, because when you looked at the win photo, the 4 won clear. Now, not clear, but by a clear nose. It wouldn't have taken that long. But Andy was right. It was for fourth between the 1 and the 9.
Yeah.
You can't see the 1's nose. I mean, you really can't.
I mean, the photos come up very, very fast.
Yeah.
Very fast. It's just sometimes it's hard to see
exactly.
on the mirrors when there's like always horses bunched like that at the wire.
We will wrap up the poker when we return and look who's back in action. Horse who crossed the wire first in the Kentucky Derby, DQ'd to 17th, Maximum Security. Back in action in the Pegasus, his first start since the Kentucky Derby. We'll show it to you when we come back.
What could be better than standing one Triple Crown winner? Standing two.
Here comes American Pharaoh. Justified, turning for home in front. And American Pharaoh has Justified. He's unstoppable. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharaoh, Justified, has won the Triple Crown.
Coolmore, America, home of Triple Crown champions.
Coming on strong. Coming on.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Barry 1.
Minute to stardom leaves them all behind with an impressive-looking run.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing, 1-2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1-2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today with an update on what we just saw in the poker. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
That's right, Greg. We saw Clyde's Image pull up and Javier Castellano dismount about a quarter of a mile after the line on the turf course. He was picked up by the horse ambulance and loaded in under his own power. Now, according to our NYRA vet, Sarah Hinchliffe, he looks as though he has a tendon injury, but not life-threatening, and it looks as though he's getting a ride back to Tom Bush's barn. So not great news, but okay news here for Clyde's Image. Guys?
Yeah, definitely the best news we could hope for after seeing him pulled up about a quarter past the finish line there. So unfortunate because he was running a huge race.
He was going to win the race. It's just the bottom line. You can't take that away from him. He was running the winning race. No one was getting to him. It's just an unfortunate situation. And it happens in horse racing, but thank God he's going to be okay.
And you hope it's a tendon injury. Obviously, he would have won the race, but if it's tendon injury, he'll be fine. He just won't be able to race.
Yeah.
Well, we told you the horse who crossed the wire first in the Kentucky Derby back in action this afternoon. Jason Service waiting to pick this spot until just about the very last minute. He announced it earlier this week. He'd had some concerns about this horse being a little light. Ultimately said, let's go forward. This being used as a prep for the Haskell Invitational. It happened just a few moments ago at Monmouth Park. Maximum Security back in action in the Pegasus. Let's take a look. Jason Beam with the call.
But recovered very quickly and shows his customary speed. King for a Day and Identifier. Those two coming after the big favorite early on, though, as they go through that opening furlong. Direct Order out in the 4th spot. It's a length and a half more back to Last Judgment. And Identifier is at the back, but company up front for Maximum Security. As King for a Day presses that one as they go by the 7/8 pole. 3 deep trip here for Identifier, who's in the 3rd spot. Length and a half more back to Direct Order. Last Judgment is spotting him about 5 here as they go by the 6 furlong marker. It's 3 and a half more to Caledon, who's at the back. 23-2 for the opening quarter mile. Maximum Security has company. King for a Day and a 3-deep identifier. Those three across the track past the 5/8 pole. They're 2.5 lengths ahead of Last Judgment, who moves up alongside of Direct Order. And it's another 7 or 8 back to Caledon, who's at the back. Half mile left to go in their journey off a 46-4 opening half. And Maximum Security goes past the half-mile pole a length in front. King for a Day in the second spot. Last Judgment starts to move up around identifier. Direct Order is right there. The top 5 only covered by about 3 lengths with 3 furlongs left to go. Caledon the only one back. Maximum Security around the far turn. King for a Day pushing him now. Maximum Security being asked for his best. Last Judgment is into the third spot. Length and a half more to identifier and Direct Order, but Maximum Security is going to have to work for it. King for a Day on the outside, and these two arrive at the top of the stretch. They've separated themselves by 5. Maximum Security all in toward the inside. King for a Day, a final furlong, greets Maximum Security, who's just a half length in front. King for a Day on the outside, going to make him earn it at the 16th pole. It's a question of who wants it more. King for a Day forges to a narrow advantage. Maximum Security has been defeated. King for a Day by a length. Maximum Security second. Direct Order was third, fourth. Last Judgment.
First time in the career of Maximum Security he has not crossed the wire first as King for a Day puts him away.
Yeah, and listen, he breaks badly. He stumbles a tiny bit, but he recovers quick enough. Listen, you're 1-9. This is a race drawn up for you. You got beat by Jersey Joe Bravo at his racetrack. The screws got put to you early, and you gave in late. And then you go on Twitter, and everybody gets sensitive over it. So here's the thing.
On Twitter? Sensitive?
The horse lost. Now can we put together the rest of the Kentucky Derby? Thank you.
Well, it is what it is. It doesn't take away his Derby performance.
No, it doesn't.
And it doesn't, settle an argument there. But the reality is they didn't run him back in Triple Crown races. They chose a non-graded stake to bring him back on a home course, basically. And he lost with a mild stumble at the start. This is a black mark for him, and he can come back in the Haskell, but he better come back in the Haskell in a big way.
I don't know if he'll run again. That's my honest
No,
opinion.
I don't disagree, Paul. I'm saying if he comes back, he's got to redeem himself. That's horse racing. If he runs again, he'll get his chance.
Well, there was just to me, too much talk after the Derby, and then after that it turned into something's the matter with the horse. Now it turns into a loss at Monmouth. What's it going to turn into next?
Yeah, it has become a bit of a circus. I don't disagree, Paul. I mean, you and I don't disagree about any of it. I agree.
It's a circus.
Total circus, and I wish he had run one of the Triple Crown races where he should have, but the way he ran today, he would have got his head handed to him by horses like War of Will.
100%.
Yeah.
One of the biggest upsets we have seen all
But let's
year
give
long.
King for a Day credit.
Yeah.
He had ran good at Pimlico, and he's getting better for pleasure.
Well, he broke his maiden in a very fast race, a mistimed but fast race here. Talking about back here at Belmont in the fall, and he went over and he was one of the favorites in the Kentucky Jockey Club. And it was a sloppy track, and he ran an okay fourth, but he has a right to be an improving horse for Todd Pletcher's been known to win some big races in his day.
An improving horse we saw last night in the 3-year-old division. That was in the Grade 3 Matt Winn. Horse coming off a victory in the Pat Day Mile, followed it up and really stamped himself now as a premier runner as he proves he can win at a mile and a 16.
This was, I mean, I don't even know if it showed up, but this was a powerhouse performance. He got a 98 buyer, and to put it in perspective, Seeking the Soul got a 103 buyer. So in figures, he ran about three lengths slower than one of the top supposed older horses in the country. It's a big performance, Paul.
No, he's the real deal. And my worry is mile 16 is probably his stretch.
I wonder too.
I tell you what, he would be the King's Bishop horse for me, man. I'll tell you, I would like to see him.
He should have been in the Woody Stevens. I think he should have run a Grade 1, but I think with him, don't you have to try the Haskell?
I guess
You've got
so,
to take your shot in a very important Grade 1 and show if you belong.
They're targeting the Indiana Derby, July 13th. They think a mile and a 16th is perfect for him. They weren't even sure about this distance for him in this race.
No, listen, he had one maiden win going a mile and a 16th around 2 turns. His other 2-turn races weren't great. Then he ran an unbelievable number in the Pat Day Mile, and then he probably ran just another unbelievable number last night. But I do think he's a better one-turn horse.
I do too, and that's why I think he should have been the Grade 1 Woody Stevens for more money and a Grade 1 and a stallion-making race. And now they're going to run the Indiana Derby. When is the Indiana Derby? Is that middle of July?
July 13th.
So I guess then they can turn him back. I think he's such a good horse. He needs to run in an important Grade 1, so he needs, win or lose in that race in Indiana, run him in the Alan Jerkins at Saratoga, Grade 1. Run against top horses where you can make him into a stallion.
You don't think he would be a favorite in the Alan Jerkins?
I don't be a favorite.
He'd be one of the top 2 or 3, right?
He'd be one of the horses. I put it this way, I wouldn't be throwing him out too quickly.
True.
9th coming up at Belmont. Let's send it downstairs, get a paddock report from Maggie Wolfendale.
And as they're going around the walking ring here, we'll take a look at number 3, Schwarbertown, who returns to the main track after a decent performance in a maiden 40 first time out, but that was on a sloppy track and an off-the-turf event to boot. Now, he does drop a little bit in price tag here, but he looks more like a horse that should handle the turf / a wet sealed track. Not a Fast Herald one that we have here today, but he is, from the overall perspective, probably the best looking horse in here, and he is more fit now, 3rd time out, as those blinkers go on. Just a short cup here for Linda Rice. Look, he makes sense. I just don't know if this is his preferred surface, as we'll also take a look at some first-time starters. Number 1 is the Confidant for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Incredibly slow works for this guy on the dab, as we heard Paul talking about earlier. He kind of looks like a big, slower type of horse. But with that being said, he looks fairly fit to me. He is by Yes It's True, so he shouldn't be that slow. Like I said, he looks good. I just don't know how to read this horse, and he does go out for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Now, number 6 is Berkey's Bro, another first-time starter in here, and I almost feel like he's kind of the one you want. He's incredibly fit for a guy who does great work. I mean, can win with a first-time starter, is sharp in here as well, and is fairly athletic looking. A bit on the smaller, kind of one-sided side, but to me, he kind of makes sense in this grouping. Guys?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Post-parade coming up here momentarily. It's Riders Up time. Post-parade coming up in just a moment. I am going to sign off, let you guys handle the nightcap here. Have a great rest of the weekend. I'll see you guys next week.
Okay. Have fun, man. I know you're going on a little vacay.
Are you?
No, I'm not, but thank you anyway.
Okay. Good call.
See you back on Wednesday.
You had to do that, Paul. You just had to do that.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Helmsman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy flag. Plus Preakness Stakes winner War of Will. And these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Greg Wolf has left us, but Paul LoDuca and I, and of course Maggie Wolfendale, are holding things down. Post-parade for the horses for the 9th race, Paul. The Confidant, Jeremiah Engelhardt.
Yeah, this one for the Spa City Stables. We'll be up at the Spa here pretty soon.
The number 2 is Lorcan, Bruce Levine, and Dylan Davis.
Levine going from turf to dirt. Doesn't have bad stats there.
The number 3 is your favorite, currently at 8-5, Schwarbertown, Linda Rice, and Jose Oscano.
If you had this son of Bridgetown first time out, wow, got a wicked beat. But the one to probably beat today at 8-5.
But a fast track could be the fly in the ointment. My top choice, the number 5, Sure Money. Hasn't been Sure Money yet.
Yeah, I got some speed, though. I can see where you're going here, and should be forwardly placed. It's gotten better with each start.
Berkey's Bro, the 6, Eric Cancel, riding this firster for John Terranova.
Yeah, first time starter, like you said, by Frost Giant. Having a mass media mare, Miss Sarah Brown.
Another firster, Ed's Pet.
Yeah, fast draw firster, a 5-year-old fast draw firster.
Mounted Cop going out for Chris Englehart and Junior Alvarado.
See a lot of those in the city. I'm sure Andy's gotten a ticket by one of them.
Yeah, I see him in my neighborhood, actually, believe it or not. There's the number 9, Wisecrack. We got Joel Rosario.
Yeah, and Rosario's ridden this horse before, and actually was not a bad effort to a good third-place finish.
The 11, Blue Skies Forever. Heeman Harkey win today on today's card, actually, with an excellent ride going out for Jimmy Ferraro.
Yeah, he did, coming up the rail, and 0 for 19 is this one. Needs to improve.
12 is Fortune's Boy for my man Gary Gullo and Kendrick Carmouche.
Whenever you get Kendrick Carmouche, you get a little bit more speed, and I would think you'll see some more today.
Awesome Mystery, looking to improve on his debut. Mike Luzzy and Jeremiah Englehart.
Yeah, dwelt at the start on the turf, now goes to dirt.
And rounding them out, the number 4, a Grotto Swing, a firster for Gaston Grant.
Yeah, Dalton Brown will be in the irons. This one is a son of Pincay. Pincay usually stands in Pennsylvania, but this one is a New York bred.
So Schwarbertown. I understand why he's the favorite in here, because obviously his one race in the dirt was okay. But, you know, Maggie talked about it. She's the sloppy track, a horse that maybe was really meant for turf, a Bridgetown. It was a good turf runner. And you just wonder if this horse will land on a dry track. Obviously, it's not much of a field, but don't you sometimes feel with a horse like this, the public just defaults to one horse in these races because they're so tough? I don't want him at 8-5.
I'm with you. I mean, the horse in between was Squeeze. I thought was going to win the race. But, I mean, if you had her, it's such a bad beat.
No, I agree. Brutal
I mean,
beat,
it's a
no
brutal
doubt.
beat.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Now the blinkers are going on a horse that we've already seen shown speed. But here's the problem. Are they putting the blinkers on this son of Bridgetown because he's broken bad his last 2 starts? I hate when they do that and they think, oh, that's going to correct them breaking. Sometimes it doesn't.
Well, for better or worse, myself and Maggie Wolfendale were both a little against Schwarbertown. We'll see what happens. Maggie is standing trackside.
Well, as Andy said, I don't really blame the public for defaulting to Schwarbertown here. He just makes sense, but why take him at a short price? I'm going to go out on a limb here. Number 8, Mounted Cup, as you guys are joking about. It's kind of a funny name for a racehorse. But the blinkers do go on this one as well. Shortcut blinker on this Chris Englehart trainee, who this is by far the fittest I've seen him look. Well muscled, moving out here, on the racetrack. I like to see that. And 2, he's getting back to 6 furlongs here for the 6.5, sorry. I'm taking a shot here. He's just a horse that caught my eye. There's not a lot in this field, and I feel as though we might see a weird result. Andy?
You know, I don't disagree with Maggie, and maybe we're just sort of overcomplicating it. The reason that I picked the 5 sure money is I wanted to pick what I thought. I thought the contenders were the 2, 3, and 5, the logicals. And maybe, you know, obviously a firster like the 1 could be able to run. And I just wanted to pick the one I thought would be the biggest price. I mean, isn't 9-1 a pretty good price on the 5?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we saw a horse at Churchill earlier that you liked that was 1 for 16. Sometimes it takes these horses time. The last race was good. The 2 races before that were not. But the first 2 races on the horse's resume are not bad.
The last 2 are worrisome. No, I agree. The last 2 are worrisome.
The last one, at least he showed some speed, 22 and 4, and showed interest, which is a plus.
How about the money coming in for the 6 Berkey's Bro? You know, you took the first on the rail. The Confidant is not taking a lot of money. Listen, I get it. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not trying to knock. I won't knock any selection either today, here, or anywhere. But Berkey's Bro's the one taking the money. But here's a stat. John Terranova, for what it's worth, with first-time stars and maiden claimers in the dirt, he's 0 for 14.
Wow.
So he's a very good trainer, but he does not have good numbers in these kind of spots.
Yeah.
But
he debuted in Lasix, yeah. And the reason why I like the 1, it might have backfired the Confidant, the last work is 54 flat out of the gate. It's so slow, it's too true to believe. And now I'm starting to wonder, did the horse get left out of the gate? That's why the work was so
54
slow.
out of the gate is pretty slow.
Yeah, so I'm worrying that the 1 might have some gate issues, and breaking from the 1 hole is not a great place to be.
No, not a good place to get left, and not really taking much money. Jeremiah Englehart actually has good numbers with his firsters and maiden claiming races.
He does.
So, I mean, I'm not afraid of that, but I agree. Listen, these races are tricky. For me, you look at these races and you try to find somebody. Listen, I don't like Mounted Cop, but Maggie likes her, and I respect that. I mean, I think you're supposed to try to find an alternative to Schwarbertown. Not that he can't win, but do you really want 3-2 on anybody in this field?
Not really. I'm sort of with you. The horse had the race 1 first time out. I get it. If he breaks a little bit better, is he the horse to beat in here? Yeah, but there's some other horses in here that can improve. I don't see why the 6, the 5, 6 first-time starter, your 5 can't improve. So I even think the 2.
So the pick 5 is relatively chalky to start it out. We get a $12 horse in Gucci Factor. And I don't think you can say enough about what Christophe Clement has done with that horse. I'm looking at the parlay. It's about $160. It's around a little over $500, the parlay, for $2 so far. So you got a horse like Shorebird. So if you use the parlay, you figure you're supposed to be getting about $300 at most for the NYRA Bets late pick 5.
I think you're right on the money.
And you're getting $468.
Yeah.
So once again, the NYRA Bets late pick 5, which you can only play through NYRA Bets if you are not in New York State, it proves to be one of the great values in racing. I don't seem to hit it very often, Paul, but when I do, I feel like I got value.
Yeah, I know, right? And it is good value. It really is. The one got played in the pick 5s, but really not getting played at the windows at all.
Well, because if you're playing the pick 5, you can't leave the horse out. I mean, anybody who's betting serious money has to put the horse in. And even though we haven't seen big prices, I think people who are alive, a lot of them spread a little bit. So you're using the one, and now the one's going to take no money. Now, sometimes these horses are sort of evenly bet, and then they get bet heavily. Like a horse like the 6, I bet he's a bigger price in the pick 5 than he is on the board.
Probably is. Yeah. You're right there. And I don't fault anybody using the 1, the 6 in here.
Right.
The first-time starters.
You didn't include Grotto Swing in your play?
No. What do you do with the 2, Andy?
I could see him winning, turf to dirt, getting back to a dry track. His first 3 races are in the ballpark.
They're in
I
the
mean,
ballpark, yeah.
And he's another one. He's 7-1 right now. What's wrong with him?
I don't get it. Hey, Dylan Davis aboard, Hard Rider. Yeah, I can see, especially with the 1 not taking money and the 3 taking so much money, and he's got a better speed figure than the 3 has.
And Schwarbertown is not a Linda Rice horse you want, because Linda didn't go back to dirt after running second in the dirt. She specifically went back to turf, and the horse didn't run particularly well. And now she says, okay, let's drop him, and let's go to the dirt and hope it's the dirt the first time. But I guarantee you, win or lose, Linda Rice isn't thinking, I'm running a 6-5 here, you know?
So you're thinking maybe that was a setup race to get on the turf?
Yeah, well, originally the horse was entered for the turf first time out.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, let's see, the 5 broke the reins. Usually they'll have an extra set of reins. Good job there by the outrider. But, yeah, they'll have an extra set of reins, and hopefully they'll get that situated.
And that means we can spend a little more time together, Paul.
Oh, it's just a pony strap.
It's a pony strap.
Oh, okay.
Good call, Mitch. Thank you for that. Very helpful. That was our director, Mitch Levitas, giving out that bad information.
Thank God we got Maggie out there helping us out.
Yeah, thank God we have somebody who knows something about what's going on.
Maggie's
besides Mitch, you and me, Paul. There's a reason we had her around here.
I know, right?
Anyway, they're loading in the gate. It's our 9th and final race. You know, we've got 3 weeks left here at Belmont. Of course, the Stars and Stripes and the Turf Triple commencing coming up on Saturday, July 6th. A lot of good racing. And as you can see today, a big crowd today and a beautiful weather. And then come out and visit us at Belmont Park before the meet wraps up. There's my 4. My 5 going into the gate. My 5. It's 4 plus 1. It's been a long week. As they wait to go in the gate. You know what I'm thinking, Paul? I'm thinking, you know who's dying to get on the broadcast right now?
Who?
The one and only Larry Collmus. He's up with the call.
I thought you were going to say Greg
final
Wolf.
race. He is. He'll do it from the car.
Here's Shore Money moving into the starting gate. It'll be followed by Berkey's Bro. And Awesome Mystery will take up position in the outside stall after Berkey's Bro moves into the starting gate. Here comes Awesome Mystery. Going in. They're all in line. They're off. Slow starts for the Confidant and Awesome Mystery. Very good beginning here for Shore Money, who is joined by Schwarbertown, and these two will make the early pace. And they're followed by Mounted Copaway running in third to the outside. Lorcan has the rail. Moving between those two is Grotto's Swing. And then it's Fortune's Boy on the outside. Break of another 3 back to Wisecrack. And they're being followed by the Confidant and Berkey's Bro. Large separation to the others. Blue Skies Forever. And way behind here are Ed's Pet and the trailer Awesome Mystery. So they make their way around the turn, 22.56 the quarter. Schwarbertown the leader. On the outside, Shore Money edges up alongside in second. Lorcan saves ground third. Fortune's Boy 3 wide in fourth. Then it's Mounted Cop between those two, running in 5th by another 3. Followed by Wisecrack and Gatto Swing on the inside. They're coming to the top at a stretch. Shore Money draws up alongside of Schwarbertown. Shore Money to the front. Schwarbertown on the inside tries to hang in there. Second, Lorcan. Third, 3 lengths behind them. And from well behind, Blue Skies Forever has made a bid in between horses and is closing fast. And then comes the Confidant on the outside. Here comes Blue Skies Forever up the rail at a big price. Lorcan 2, these two down to the wire. Blue Skies Forever did it. And then it was Lorcan, the Confidant, and Shore Money.
Turns out that Father's Day was Heman Harkey Day here at Belmont Park. He wins the first Paul, and Blue Skies Forever picks up a collapsing pace late.
Wow, and they're showing the camera on the 2, but the 2 did not win this
the
race.
11 won.
Lorcan actually saw the 11 on the rail, and Herman Harkey gave his horse a great ride, but watch the 2 see the 11 late here, and now he starts pointing at him, but the 11 has all the momentum here at 38-1 and wins easy here. And the one the first time starter who got left ran well.
You called that he would get left, and he came running at the end, but this was a race that absolutely collapsed. I looked like Gin with my number 5 shirt. I looked like Sure Money with Sure Money.
I know, right?
I was counting my Sure Money, did not get the money, but Heman Harkey, and I'm going to tell you something, in all fairness, he's a 10-pound bug rider, Paul. He won these races with terrific rides.
Yeah,
he was not lucky to win. Great rides by him. We'll be back with the official results for the 9th race in just a moment.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up at NYRABets.com for a new member bonus.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we've had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guys gonna do it.
Funny Guys win in the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and these beautiful animals give their all for our entertainment and diversify. We're taking a look at here. He certainly gave us some thrills when he was racing on the racetrack. We're sad to report that he's been retired. Mike Welsh of the Daily Racing Form pointing out that he's been retired with a suspensory injury once again. It's a situation. Obviously, he'll be okay, but he won't be able to race anymore. But remember, diversify for not only that win in the Whitney, but how about that performance in the Suburban last year?
Yeah, it's just that was unbelievable. He showed a ton of guts. He had a ton of talent too. That's a sad tweet. And hopefully he'll have a good life on the farm.
Have to go visit Diversify.
Yeah.
We'll look at to visit him wherever he was. He certainly did a lot of good things for his owner, Ralph Evans, one of the real good guys in the game. You know what? Heman Harkey, he's a 10-pound rider, and he rides well. I give this kid credit. Been riding well all winter, and he gets the money here. Unfortunately, knocking some people out in the Lorcan.
Yeah, the pick 4 at 4,000. Look at the pick 5, 58,000. I would think that's a one ticket, but you're right. The first race he gave a horse a ride right up the rail, and this one was another one right on the rail. And the last 2 winners, Gucci Factor and Blue Skies Forever, 58 dimes.
Surprised
wow.
it was hit. One person in it. Congratulations. You almost feel like that person had it all. The 20th race was the charm for Blue Skies Forever. So we got 3 weeks left at Belmont. We've still got the beginning of the new turf triples coming up on of course, on our Stars and Stripes card coming up July 6th. But a lot of good racing coming up as well.
No, we do. And you got to forget, we're Wednesday through Sunday again for the next 3 weekends. And you're right. Everybody's focusing on Saratoga, but Stars and Stripes weekend's a great weekend.
No, tremendous weekend, and that's the start of our new turf triple. Obviously, the first weekend in August, we'll have the Oaks, the Saratoga Oaks, and the Saratoga Derby, and then we'll come back to Belmont, and we'll close them out with the Jockey Club Oaks and Jockey Club Derby. So a lot of good racing left to come. Don't give up on us at Belmont yet, and have some finishes like we had in that poker. So thanks for joining us, and for Maggie Wolfendale, Greg Wolf, Paul LoDuca, everyone in the truck, and everybody that works hard, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again this coming Wednesday on America's Day at the Races.